All right, buckle up. Right away, we're staring at a Bayagi-looking mansion, like it leapt straight out of a historical drama. This is the Duke's crib. Now my man's turning to his kid Thor and unloading the bombshell. Son, pack your bags. The Empire's shipping you off as a hostage. Thor is freaking out for a good reason. Wait, what? But yeah, it's already over, bro. The carriage is sitting outside, ready to roll, and they didn't even give him a second to grab his favorite body pillow. His dad, with a face colder than my ex's heart, coldly declares, "You're not wanted here anymore, Thor." Our boy is spiraling. He's like, "Dad, I don't get it. I haven't seen you in 3 years, and this is how you say hi." Then the Duke drops the biggest emotional bomb of all, calling him useless, and it hits so hard it's basically game over. Like, this dad's straight-up low-tier trash, So yeah, Thor tore himself out of that toxic house as a kid, swore he'd live like a normal guy. But they yanked him back just to humiliate him. And his dad, Espen, yelling that he has zero combat skills. Basically the same vibe as living in a world where Wi-Fi never comes back. The captain of the guard lunges in like, "Yo, about Thor's appraisal." But the Duke shuts him down cold, not even listening. Yo, when Thor was just 10, they appraised his skills, and the combat score came back as a giant, embarrassing 0. The whole family took the L hard. They even gave him a reroll at 12, but the RNG gods said nope. He landed basic magic, nothing that could hit back, while the fancy high society crew cracked up and branded him a disgrace. The Duke is seething because his family's meant to be packed with op combat monsters, and then he got stuck with this dude. Pops erupts into a full-blown meltdown, jabbing his finger like a disappointed anime dad. Do you get the despair of a parent like you? Bro, chill, it's not that serious. But for Thor, this is his whole world. This is the trash-tier punishment you get when you can't fight, and that's just the start. But hold up, our boy's just pulled out a secret weapon. He's like, "I can't brawl, but I've got alchemy skills." He pushes his pitch hard, selling his skills, promising he can fix anything, even boasting he works at a government office. Because deep down he's got big dreams. He wants to level up his craft and forge brand new epic items. The Duke snaps, he slams his fist into the floor and roars, "Shut up." Then he backs off like, not worth it. Honestly, what a dramatic drama queen. He roasts Thor's whole career plan to pieces. Says the Empire's already got legendary swords and shields, so why in the world would they need some fresh junk from him? Pure absolute savage. Thor finally snaps into focus. These guys are straight-up brick walls. He stops wasting breath on logic, throws up his hands, and demands, "So where the hell are you sending me?" That answer? It's a death trap. Everyone who gets thrown in as a hostage just disappears like the place swallows them whole, and not a single one has ever come back. Thor's mind snaps into motion, and before anyone can stop him, he blurts the forbidden question. "You mean the Demon King's territory?" And his dad shoots him a smug grin like, "Yeah, you got it, genius." Because this dude is basically tossing his own son into a one-way ticket to get demolished by demons. Thor is freaking out. His map screams that the demon territory is packed with bloodthirsty monsters. His dad flat out says it's basically a human sacrifice, just to keep the demons calm. Then the guards are like, "Move it and vanish already, dude." Then because he's the absolute worst person alive, the Duke backhands his own son and drives a punch straight into his gut. Thor slams onto the ground, wheezing as disbelief hits. Why would they do this? Then a fire ignites behind his eyes. He glares at his old man and spits, "I hate you." The Duke stays stone cold as he lands the final blow. "I don't chat with dead men, you're dead." And honestly, this dude just snagged the Worst Dad award. So our boy gets ripped out of his own homeland and cast away. Trapped in a carriage that's careening straight towards certain doom. He can't stop wondering what the Demon King's territory is even like. 100 years ago, this brutal war raged for ages, until one hero got iced in, then still somehow shoved the demons back. Ever since that tense peace locked in, things felt calm, but the demons kept their hatred for humans burning hot. It's a world wrapped in pure mystery, like the secrets are hiding right under your feet. Inside that rattling box, Thor's eyes can't catch a single thing. He's boxed in by 20 guards, there's no way he's getting out. He's stuck replaying the moment he tried to cut ties with his psycho family, only for them to yank him right back in anyway. He flashes back to his chill government worker life, clocking in with his mom's last name, doing low-key repairs, and honestly, he even liked it. He was grinding out his alchemy like perfection was the only option, tweaking every detail, even forging a magic sword, living his absolute best crafter life. Back in the present, he whips out 3 spoons like they're about to blow everything up. He locks onto one target, slams his fist down, and yells, "Activate alchemy." The spoon melts down to a puddle of metal right in his hand. Then, like an absolute legend, He forges it into a freaking shiv. Turns out his alchemy skill is secretly op. He can smash stuff apart, rebuild it from scratch, and even appraise its value on the spot. He's been dreaming of one day opening his own workshop. And he's not about to let that dream die, knife in hand. He's sure I can't drop dead right here. Suddenly, a guard screams that they're right on the edge of the Demon King's territory. The carriage door groans as it swings wide open. A hulking armored brute barks at him, "Get out." Thor strides out like he's one step away from boarding the plank, straight into disaster. They're standing right on the literal edge of the world, where the road just cuts off completely. This is the final stop in human territory. Thor interrogates the guards, demanding to know if they're about to hand him over to someone. But the commander shuts him down and barks for an archer. Fire a signal arrow straight into those creepy forests. A creepy rustle creeps through the trees. Then he steps out and a hulking, bull-headed demi-human barrels into view. The guards snap rigid. They know it now, this is it. Then two more absolute units step out of the woods, followed right after by a tiny, adorable elf strutting in a full-on maid outfit. Thor's just standing there, totally mind-blown, 3 hulking minotaurs and 1 adorable waifu, and he's like, "Wait, what the heck is going on?" Then the elf maid leans in and asks if he's scared, and Thor quickly tries to play it cool, snapping that it's rude to admit you're afraid. "Bro, just a second ago you saw a real-life minotaur for the first time, and right beside you, boom, a certified elf waifu." He decides to make a killer first impression, so he introduces himself with stiff, formal manners, while the guards behind him are trembling like their knees might give out any second. But plot twist, this whole thing is a mastermind game. Thor Riggs is just faking it to throw everyone off, then he's gonna vanish the second the opening hits. Then the elf, Mabel, grins and welcomes him in the Demon King's name. And my guy's brains instantly fry, because he can't decide if this is a party or they're about to serve him. His brain is basically yelling, "Trap!" Because these beefy minotaurs look like they're seconds away from flattening him into a pancake. "Bro, relax, they're just being polite." He's still rambling to the guards, warning them to be careful, but they straight up shoved him into a carriage and disappeared like he never existed. So now I'm sitting here thinking, what if they're the good guys after all? He finally steadies himself and blurts out, "Thanks for the trouble." He juts out his chest, launches into the full fancy introduction. "I'm Thor Regus, the eldest child of the Duke." And yeah, he's absolutely laying it on thick, my guy. That silence is so thick it feels like you could slice it with a knife. But Mabel is glowing from ear to ear. Like, OMG, this is the first time anyone from the Empire has been this polite, and she's basically losing her mind, fangirling so hard. Thor is sweating bullets, grits his teeth, forces a smile, and tells her he's actually excited to start working together. He grabs the paperwork and goes, "Hold up, this doesn't say I'm the sacrifice." Like, bro, what did you honestly think was gonna happen? Mabel rolls out his new assistant, a ripped minotaur who can literally haul him around if he ever gets tired. And honestly, that's pure Chad energy. The second the deal's sealed, the Empire's knights bolt so fast you'd swear they just saw a ghost, pure absolute cowards. They're yelling that we're about to get killed, while our boy and his brand new elf maid just stand there, totally clueless like, what's going on? Mabel fires a straight-up question, "Are you scared?" And he just laughs, "Now I'm not afraid," even while admitting it's rude to say it out loud like that. Smooth. Deep down, he realizes the Minotaurs aren't treating him like a prisoner at all. They're rolling out the red carpet like he's a VIP guest. He's like, "Yo, there's no question. The kindness between these guys and the Empire soldiers is heaven and earth. No cap." Right when he's vibing, boom, dark magical power crashes into him. And instead of wearing him out, Demon King Turf starts leveling him up with a ridiculous buff just for standing there. Suddenly, the system crashes into chaos. Darkness starts gulping magical power, and it doesn't stop until it's complete. All 6 attributes pop open, a bunch of skills awaken at once, and my guy just hit the RNG jackpot. He's totally frozen, blurtin', "What was that?" And the second it hits, he rips open his status screen. And what does he spot? Creative Alchemy, the top-tier alchemy skill so brutally op it demands all 6 elemental attributes just to unlock it. And on top of that, he can do material alchemy to forge creations from magic, then use addition alchemy to bolt fresh attributes onto his gear. This guy is basically a walking crafting bench. With appraisal on top, this classic must-have skill is what makes every op protagonist unstoppable. He's locked onto his screen, totally mind-blown, because the alchemy skill evolved and he's realizing something wild. A power like this actually exists. Then it finally clicks. Turns out he didn't lack fighting skills at all. All his XP was getting slammed into unlocking one insane SSS-tier creative ability, so he wasn't weak. He was just building power for his ultimate. Mabel yanks him back to reality, panicked that the wild magical power in this land is making him sick. And that's when our boy finally clicks everything into place. Because the human empire's magic burns with fire and light, the demon territory is drowning in darkness, and he just soaked up the one element he'd been missing his whole life. He finally understands. Back in the human world, darkness magic gets crushed, but here it's overflowing. He gulps down a massive load of it, and that's the key that snaps the final condition into place, awakening his true power, the ultimate glow-up. While they push through the forest, the path turns jagged fast, and our boy, ever the gentleman, leans in to tell Ms. Mabel to watch her step. And just like that, right on cue, you hear a tiny crack asterisk, like the universe just got a stamp of approval. Her pendant blasts off her neck and flies through the air. The chain snagged on a branch and snapped in an instant, and it wasn't any pendant at all. It was her mom's memento, the kind that hits you in the soul. She stares at the shattered piece, and heartbreak hits her like a wave. But she tries to brush it off, saying, "It's fine, don't worry about it." Yeah, sure, we all know she's lying. But Thor won't let that happen. He steps up like a total Chad and asks, "Is it cool if I try to fix it?" Mabel blurts out, shocked, "Are you really a craftsman?" And then he tears into his heartbreaking past. Back in the Empire, he wasn't even allowed to call himself an alchemist. All he ever did was fix whatever junk wandered into his workshop, because nobody ever bothered to ask for help. Then something inside him snaps. He's not that guy anymore. He lifts his gaze and thinks, "No, I'm an alchemist." He's finally stepping up and taking it head-on. No more hiding, not anymore. He introduces himself again, only this time he steps up with full confidence. "I'm the alchemist Thor Riggs. Can you let me repair that chain?" And the whole vibe screams absolute king. She hesitates, asking, "Is this okay?" Even though she's not human, and he just brushes it off like, "That doesn't matter." Bro's racking up some crazy waifu points right now. She shoves it into his hands and makes it crystal clear how vital it is. Because one wrong move and the pressure crushes him. Thor just blurts, "I get it." And boom, he fires up his brand new op skill, Creative Alchemy. He snaps out an appraisal grasp right away, hunting for every detail so he knows exactly what he's up against. The scan lights up a pendant carved from water spirit stone, but the chain. It's forged from some unknown mystery metal, and it screams challenge. He's basically like, "Bet I can use alchemy to forge a brand new chain straight out of pure magic, and even slap a water attribute on it for a nasty little buff." He pours his magic in with shaking hope, picturing it all snapping into place in his mind. And just like that, bam bam, repairs were finished. Mabel and the Minotaurs are completely wrecked, in the best way. Because this makeover is wildly beautiful, and she can't even wrap her head around how fixed everything is and how it looks better than ever. Even Thor's shocked by what he just pulled off, like he's trying to act cool, saying, "Nah, it was nothing, just a quick fix." But then he catches himself. There could be real weaknesses, so stop playing humble, my guy. He hands it back and she snaps out of messenger mode because now it's Thor. No more titles, just first names. Let's go. She's absolutely over the moon, tears spilling down her face. "You did it. My mom's keepsake fixed, thank you." The Minotaurs are straight up his official hype crew now, and with Mr. Thor that cool, Thor's ready to become the greatest alchemist ever, while he's just standing there, face burning red, smiling like, "I'm so glad I could help." And it finally smacks him. This is the very first time. Has anyone ever been this overwhelmed with gratitude for his alchemy? All he can think about is his trash of a father, someone who dismissed his talent as worthless, then literally shipped him out like cargo to die. Mabel's grin feels worlds apart from everything else, and she leans in asking if this rush of helping people is exactly what he was chasing. Our boy's eyes flood with tears, and with a trembling voice he says, "I can't believe I finally made it here. I'm so glad I got to come." He suddenly dives into the legends in his history books, wondering, did those ancient alchemists ever feel this same rush, crafting magical things for people like his own dream? And then Mabel slams in the final relationship upgrade. "Just call me Mabel," she says. Yeah, it's on there. They're beaming like official besties. Thank you for the guidance, Mabel. And then, of course, Mr. Alchemist Thor. And just like that, our guy kicked off his brand new life as an alchemist, right in the middle of demon territory. So our boy Thor rolls up like, "Yo, are you telling me this is the Demon King's turf?" He leans out the window and stares at a massive river packed with ships cruising by. Way too real and way too peaceful for the hellscape he was bracing for. And yo, those sailors are legit fishmen, straight out of myth, and my guy, S about to dive headfirst into chaos. This place is packed to the brim with beastmen and mermaids, plus every other kind of demi-human, just living their best lives together. Mabel the elf-maid waifu leans in and tells you the truth. Yeah, there are tons of demi-humans here, and the Empire's propaganda promised pure chaos. So why does it feel so different? But nah, it's mostly chill. The Empire just spins these wild tales about getting snatched up or getting mauled by beasts, all to scare everyone off. She's basically like, listen, our population's small, so everyone has to earn their place. We're not looking for a hostage. We need you to be a real asset. Thor's brain finally kicks back on, and he's instantly like, wait, hold up, I'm not helping, I'm a hostage. My whole mission is simple, don't let me die. He leans in and demands, so where the last humans that got shipped here disappear to? Mabel's like, bro, this was 50 years ago, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not that old. I only heard about it because you showed up. Turns out the last hostage just vanished. No locks, no restraints, nothing. But with that forest basically begging to kill you, he sprinted straight back home. Thor's just taking in the fresh intel, his face etched with deep, brooding thoughts. So yeah, here's the tea. The demons roll out the red carpet like they're honored guests, but the Empire is calling them sacrifices and hostages. Straight-up PR damage control. Once the humans bail on the peace, they vanish on the Empire like smoke. No word, no trace, just MIA, real sneaky. Mabel starts to get nervous and fires off. Is Thor even gonna bounce too? Then she leans into it hard, like yeah, she knows she's exaggerating, but she's got no cool alchemist on her team like the ones you talk about. She bats those puppy dog eyes hard, swears she'll make his stay ridiculously comfy. And meanwhile, this boy's just trying to remember he's not a tourist. He's a diplomat here to bring peace. And he straight up admits, yeah, I was totally gonna bail, but they're not even locking me up, so what's the point? It's way too easy, man. And yeah, he's totally down bad for Mabel. She's the first one who ever truly hype-trained him as an alchemist, and now he's not about to let his new waifu down. So my boy juts his chest out, vows he'll give it everything for the demon nation. Watch that character arc light up right now. And Mabel's practically floating. Red as a tomato, grinning hard, mission accomplished, my dude. All right, boss, fight time. They're seconds away from facing the Demon King himself, and the one rule is simple, don't get on his bad side. Keep those vibes bright. Thor's looking kinda sus to me. Mabel and the buff minotaurs are totally chill, but the big boss, yeah, he's a whole other problem. Then bam, they burst up to the castle, and it looks absolutely terrifying, like something straight out of a nightmare. Inside, the giant throne room stretches out, empty for the moment, like the whole place is holding its breath. A man strides down the Green Mile, and beside him march Minotaur guards, huge, built like beasts and ready to tear the world apart. He's sweating bullets, heart slamming against his chest. Man, the tension is real, fam. The announcer slams the name into the mic. Demon King Rookie Everguard is here. A deep voice rumbles through the room. I'm in your debt. The new guy from the Empire is yours. And there he is, the Demon King, towering in a robe like some giant mouse weirdo, but hey, whatever. Thor marches up and introduces himself. Thor stays polite, but the Demon King shuts that down fast. 8 pleasures all mine. What can you do? Then he smirks and fires back. The Duke wouldn't send junk to his new bride. Thor cracked a grin and said, yeah, I dabble in alchemy a little. He's firing thoughts at lightning speed. If I'm a guest and not a prisoner, then this is basically a job interview, and I'm about to use that. The Demon King leans in, intrigued, until Curve, that slick prime minister, smugly says, if the Empire can just gobble up alchemists over there, they must be piled in mountains. But Thor snaps back fast. Nope, back home, alchemists are basically useless. And just like that, the Empire gets hit with a brutal reality check. Big oof. So Thor blurts, wait, you're saying I actually got the job? And the Demon King grins like he's sealing the deal. Bet. I'll set you up with a workshop. Go wild. The Demon King leans in and asks what my boy needs to start. Thor slams his shopping list together, loads up the room like it's fully stocked, and the king is already asking, that's it. What else you got? And honestly, my man can't even believe how effortless all of this is. The king tells him to just spit out a simple list, and they'll take it from there. Thor's completely shaken. The king grants him full creative freedom, only asking one thing. Can his inventions be mass-produced to help the public? Thor's totally on board, then he leans in with a question of his own. He's like, why are you acting so calm? I'm with the enemy empire. Then the Demon King drops a one-liner just to learn, because of course he does. Thor's totally lost. Learn what exactly? Then the king drops the real history. Long ago, ice-powered heroes and plain old human brains absolutely crushed the demons. Back when the world was still young, humans chucked summoning magic and pulled in op heroes from another realm. Then those busted monsters basically slaughtered the demon army without breaking a sweat. The hero finally smoked the old demon king, then vanished back to his own world, dropping all his busted gear and the hard-earned knowledge he'd picked up along the way. Thor's like, that was 200 years ago, but the king snaps back. None of that matters. They take the L anyway, swallow the loss, and turn it into a lesson. This brand new demon king is a pacifist Chad. He's not chasing fights at all. He's going full professor mode, living for knowledge. He won't let his ancestors' sacrifices go to waste, so he brings in guests from the Empire to soak up their tech and culture. He leans in and tells Thor that their kingdom is an alchemist's dream, because if they want to keep pace with the Empire's relentless progress, they've got to tap into that genius. Thor is completely stunned. He's finally getting full creative freedom, and now everybody's seeing just how skilled he really is, the ultimate glow-up, no question. Ramped up to the max, our boy announces he's about to forge something absolutely wild as a thank you gift for the king. The demon king's out here like, I got an 8-bet, don't you dare let me down. Once the business was done, the Prime Minister told Thor to hit the rest button and finally crash after that brutal long trip. And just like that, the meeting ends, boom, it's over. The demon king watches him vanish into the night, hemmed in by his guards, but the second Thor disappears, the king snaps, now. 8, so the demon king summons his top dogs for a meeting, and the whole room's focus is on Thor Regus, our new transfer student straight from the Empire. We just pulled up the whole squad. The elf magic commander, the lizard men assault commander, and my man the minotaur unit commander. And let me tell you, these absolute units are unreal. The demon king slams the rules down right away. Listen up, you clowns. I know what you're thinking, and no, you're not touching this dude with even one finger. He doubles down, tells them to show Thor respect, learn the human world from him, and then spread the message. Basically, don't be cringe, we're better than that. But of course the elf commander snaps up like, with all due respect, my guy, what are we even supposed to learn from some random human from the Empire? Bro's straight up throwing shade. And right there, a smug little smirk creeps onto his face, like he can't help thinking he's way too damn good. He acts like he won't learn, so screw that. Let's flex on him, show this human who's boss, and remind him our territory is terrifying because this dude wants all the smoke. The demon king just swings a terrifying hoe and clocks him. Like the whole room just plunged cold, no joke, my guy, but then the demon king straight up says, yeah, show him your power. And sure, that sounds great, yet his whole vibe screams trap. That dumb elf thinks he scored a win, then T-Hanks, he blurts it out, and realizes too late he just triggered a trap card. The demon king releases a crushing, bone-deep sigh. And then he absolutely slams the guy. Like, did you seriously forget how we nearly went extinct because our ancestors acted arrogant and swore humans weren't scary? He's dropping pure facts, and the whole room just goes dead silent, everyone stunned. Look at the Empire right now. They're expanding fast, getting way stronger, and some of them are flat-out stronger than us. And he's basically roasting the elf commander as a trash strategist. He's screaming at the guy, how can you say we can't learn from them when you know all of this? Meanwhile, the elf commander gets absolutely grilled and can only choke out apologies. The Prime Minister nerve steps into the smooth stuff. Yes, sir. Then he rolls out his plan. We'll use his creations to study their tech and culture, because right now he's the real MVP, pulling his boy back from getting vaporized. The Demon King finally cools off and goes, all right, bet, Thor's from the Empire, so we've got to be careful. Then he snaps, we'll test his power. And right on cue, Mabel steps up. And just like that, the adorable elf maid Mabel is slapped on our boy as his personal caretaker and observer. Because boom, a new waifu has been secured. Then the Demon King jolted as a memory hit. Wait, was Mabel the guy who fixed that pendant? Why yes, your majesty. He used magical silver on the water spirit stone pendant you wear. The Prime Minister's like, hold up. And then he just poofs magical silver out of thin air. No cap, Mabel swears she saw it with her own eyes, and now they're like, just appraise it to make sure. Nerve snaps his gaze to Mabel, and the seriousness hits his face like thunder. He's like, that pendant, your mom's family heirloom, right? But then you realize its power should have died out a long time ago. He drops the bombshell, turns out the magic stone inside was cracked, but now it's repaired. Mabel and the lizard boys are absolutely stunned, like their minds just short-circuited. Nerve breaks it down. Repairing a water spirit stone is basically impossible with their tech. Yet this Thor-looking guy just snaps it fixed like it's nothing. He starts tearing it apart piece by piece. First, this proves an alchemist exists who can fix op items on the spot. And second, the Empire is probably sitting on a whole squad of alchemists just like him. The Demon King is thinking on a whole different plane, and I knew they wouldn't hand him over for nothing. Nerve nods like, yeah, this is a threat, because if the Empire's got an army of Thors, then fighting back is basically suicide. The commanders are sweating buckets, losing sleep over what's about to happen. Or his nerve never breaks. Either way, the Empire was so clueless it ignored his austere talent and straight up yeeted him. And yeah, that's probably exactly what went down. The Demon King's like, what ate? I'm getting it, so we're staying on guard, and the elf commander keeps apologizing before they finally set out to prep Thor's workshop. Meanwhile, Mabel rushes off to grab him, blushing with an apology for the wait, convinced he's freaking out with nerves. But nah, my dude's living his best life, freaking out with joy over a vase like a total nerd. He's just a total alchemy nerd, pointing at everything like, so what is this made of? And Mabel clocks that she was worrying for nothing, what a cinnamon roll. Then boom, two towering lizardmen absolute units step in as his guards. Mabel's stomach drops into panic. Sure, these guards look like they've got no weapons, but those claws could rip him to shreds. And yeah, this is way too much. He's about to be absolutely terrified. But Thor's acting like this total clueless goof. Oh cool, I'll just leave it to you. And Mabel is freaking out over a tiny system glitch sparked by his reaction. He tells me, it's my first time meeting a lizardman, and you could see the surprise hit him instantly. While Mabel is totally stunned that a human just called them by their real name. Turns out, humans are often wildly racist, and they even label them lizard humans or reptile men. So she thinks he's just staring in shock at how strong they are and how those scales are everywhere. But Thor's brain is on some totally different frequency. Look, I just had a thought. Your scales are probably catching on your clothes, right? I'm an alchemist, so I should invent some super slick fabric for you guys. And honestly, this dude is way too pure for this world. Mabel's mouth hangs open, and she can't even process it, because this is exactly the last thing she ever thought would happen. Thor leaned in and said, I'm just dying to know how all these different races manage to live here. So many different species live here, and I swear every single one of them is dealing with its own brutal, one-of-a-kind problems. My dream is to use my tech to crush those problems and flip the world for the better. No cap, this kid is a total gigachat. He declares he's going to repay the Demon King for hiring him, and Mabel's shocked, because every word he says is the truth, no lies at all. Even the lizard guards can spot it in his eyes. This is a real alchemist, one who doesn't care about race at all, just the problems he's determined to crush. Mabel's officially jumped on the Thor hype train. Thor-sama, you're incredible. She gushes, completely head over heels. She drops into a bow, swears to stand by him, and means it with every ounce of her heart. He's over the moon that she's helping, and you can practically see a brand new friendship starting to bloom right in front of our eyes. And just like that, she stepped into the role of caretaker for the guy who's about to blow up the Demon King's territory and change everything. Let's go. Then we slam into a flashback. Our new elf waifu gets absolutely roasted by her own people, labeled a dirty half-blood, branded a disgrace to all elves, and called straight-up useless just because she can't use magic, big yikes. She's just a kid begging them to stop, but these haters, they've got zero chill. Turns out it was nothing but a nightmare. Just another brutal throwback to her childhood trauma, ripping her open all over again. She jolts awake, and just like always, her feet are freezing solid, like the whole world hit her with an ice-cold vibe. She just kept wishing she could finally move on from that past, and stop freaking out every time the cold hit her. Even with those giant, fluffy socks on, she can't shake the fear. Thor-sama is going to see her, and it's going to be wildly embarrassing. But no girls rocking that outfit the way you are. You're absolutely killing it. Meanwhile, our boy Thor is losing his mind over the Demon King's storehouse. He's standing there like a kid in a candy shop, staring at mountains of loot and loving every second. He spots a pile of busted shields and twisted armor just sitting there, wrecked and abandoned. And my guy straight up hits the jackpot. He's buzzing out of his mind, convinced the Demon King's castle is the coolest thing on the planet. Then he finally snaps into focus. This isn't some wild free-for-all. The Demon King is backing him like an investment, and if he doesn't deliver, he's getting tossed aside for good. All right, it's go time. He has to grind until he can cook up something that'll blow everyone away, especially the big boss. He's tearing through scrap for materials when, bam, he trips over a weird, mysterious book. Writing it feels totally alien, and he can only guess the person who had it before just hacked it back into the dark and threw away the calls they couldn't even read. Must have sucked to be them. 'Cause this is straight up an ad for a foot bath from another world. And the testimonials are pure gold, my dude. Like some 34-year-old Salaram claimed it cured his cold feet and even helped him land a girlfriend, so yeah, this thing is op. Thor is stunned that an SDR item like this has been sitting there, collecting dust, like it's been forgotten. Then it finally clicks, wait, hold up. He can't possibly read other worlds or languages, right? Or can he? He plowed through the whole thing like it was nothing. Turns out his over-alchemy skill comes with a built-in Google Translate. And the book is basically an e-commerce catalog. So yeah, his skill lets him read alien text and size up items in seconds, and that's basically a cheat code. That catalog is for a place called Nihan, and you can tell one of the heroes ditched it in a hurry before disappearing. He keeps flipping through, and suddenly, boom, he spots all this wild recovery gear, hot face, mask stuff meant to crank up his sleep. Then the galaxy brain moment hits, he finally clicks. This is exactly how the heroes got so stupidly strong. They were basically full-on Amazon priming themselves. Boosts, these eyeglasses that crank your vision to 20x, and a pill that hands you 10 hours of sleep in 2. Bro, that's next-level pay-to-win nonsense. Right when he's seconds from a full-on meltdown, Mabel the elf pops in out of nowhere with tea, snatching his focus so hard it startles the heck out of him. She's like, my bad, yeah, I see you were locked in the whole time. He holds up the book to her and asks, can you read this? Just to make sure. She's like, nah fam, that's straight-up gibberish to me. And then she tells him that weird stuff from other worlds sometimes just shows up here out of nowhere. And she unleashes a ruthless burn that sounds exactly like something a guy who never cleans his room would say. Absolutely savage. He awkwardly takes the tea like it's a surprise grenade. Mabel blurts out her cold feet are the real problem. Her mana flow is trash tier, so magic just won't work for her. And she even suspects it's because her grandma was human. And just like that, her own people turned their backs on her and cast her out. But she had a gift for cleaning, so the Demon King tossed her a job, absolute Chad energy from him. Our boy Thor gets choked up, tears spilling for her, softy mode activated. He totally panics, gets flustered, and blurts out an apology for that tragic backstory spill. But she shrugs off all the magic talk and says she doesn't care one bit, because she's got her human grandma's pride blazing in her chest. Thor snaps everything into place. Wait, you mean the moment you first came to meet me? She confirms it, then blurts that she's dying to know why humans matter to her grandma, and she wants to meet him specifically. And she's absolutely thrilled that he's the very first human she ever got to know. Now sing it with me, 'cause we're sailing off into the open sea, boys. He turns betread, then quickly dodges the topic, praising how awesome the Demon King's territory is for welcoming everybody. Mabel nods and says, exactly. This way, everyone gets to flex their weird little superpowers just like I do. Then Thor perks up, gets this brilliant idea, and asks her to help him with a dangerous experiment. First, he snatches a couple of battered, busted shields straight from the pile. He taps the foot bath ad again, and yeah, this thing feels like a straight-up miracle cure. The ad breaks it down in wild detail, how it rides water currents to smash the exact acupuncture spots, like some super-advanced tech sci-fi machine. He's betting those junk shields can be turned into something huge. He just needs to rip the fire and wind magic stones out of them. The shields are already shattered, so he's not wasting a single thing. Now it's time to go wild with alchemy. He kicks his skill on, melts the shields away, and rips those stones right out. He effortlessly shapes the metal now that it's finally soft enough to bend. Mabel strides in with a tub right as he's wrapping up, and he tells her, I'm turning that shield into pieces for the foot bath. She's totally frozen in shock. Like, dude, are you seriously tearing up castle property? He flashes this grin, blurts alchemy baby, and taps her cheek with one playful poke. Yeah, he's absolutely down bad, I swear. With everything set and stocked, he jumps straight into action. Overall, Kemi lets out that activate spark. Now we're cooking. He grabs the catalog image like a blueprint, then starts sharpening and refining every material he closes his eyes and pictures the magic stones. Then their power surges out, blasting into the water. He knows he'll never nail a perfect one-to-one copy, because the hero's world tech is miles ahead. But he also knows he can cheat the gap with magic and still get the exact results. The wind stone will rip the vibrations through the air, and the fire stone will blast out the heat. Basically a smart, low-tech ice guy workaround. The system fires back with a green light. Image confirmed, creation unlocked, let's go. And bam, creation alchemy is finished. He yanks up the stats screen. This foot bath's got 2-star rarity and a brutal 25-year durability, and somehow it's made from straight-up junk. He shoves it into Mabel's hands, grinning like crazy, and swears it'll cure those cold feet fast. She's losing it, dude. Seriously, it's only been like 10 minutes, and every single alchemist in the Empire is basically saying, too op, so he has to admit it. Even his own family wouldn't let him anywhere near a workshop. He still hears his dad's voice screaming at him, never get cocky. So he stumbles over his words like, yeah, I guess there are a ton of dudes at my level, maybe. And Mabel's freaking out hard, imagining an entire army of thorns charging wild and alive. He tries to play it cool like it's no big deal, then slips up and admits he just copied it. Then he shoves the thing straight into her hands. She's totally stunned by me. He's like, yep, now we're doing it. And I'm like, all right, let's go fill it with water. I'll show you exactly how it works. All right, so Thor's about to fire up his brand new invention in front of the Prime Minister, presenting the user manual like he's unsealing the coolest new console ever. The MC goes, yo, Mr. Prime Minister, why are you even in my workshop? And the guy basically answers, I heard you've been cooking up some Esther loot, so I had to come see it for myself. Thor bursts into action and kicks off the tutorial with his shiny new foot bath. He orders the elf maid Mabel to grab the water, pump some mana into the firestone, and then dip her toes right in. She cautiously dips her feet in, and you can practically feel her brain screaming, please don't tell me this is some cheap ice skating trap. Yeah, she's trembling with nerves over this whole mess. Then my guy hits her with, oh yeah, listen to this, and orders her to crank up the wind magic stone so it can start vibrating. The moment it hits, the water explodes into a frenzy, and her feet start kicking and splashing like there's no tomorrow. Homegirl screams so loud it could shatter glass. She's yelling like I'm gonna die, and every time those water currents smack me, my sensitive spots are cooked, bro. Wait, what kind of foot bath did you build? She's literally snapping, and Thor's just standing there like, yep, the magic stone is doing exactly what it's supposed to. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is straight up staring at the whole disaster unfold. Mabel is skyrocketing up the stairs, cheeks blazing, gushing about how insanely amazing and warm it feels. She can barely survive the sheer raw power blasting out of this foot spa. My girl's staring straight at the face of God right now, and she's screaming like she just nuked a single summon and pulled a 5-star character. She's literally standing in heaven like it's real. Over a steaming foot bath, the narrator straight up says something wild is ripping through her, and honestly, there's no more epic way to describe a foot massage. The Prime Minister tries to sound all scientific, like, this should be blowing away the cold sensitivity, and then he quickly asks her if she's okay. Shaking with excitement, she blurts out that her mana finally started flowing right like, for the very first time, and then she realizes, this is a real healing item. The PM's jaw drops to the ground, your mana. Wait, that mana is one of the hero's legit healthy goods items, isn't it? Then his brain basically short-circuits. There's no proof in the system that the hero's gear even has a feature that rips you into another dimension. Thor just shrugs like, of course heroes are op, so why wouldn't their gear be op too? Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is completely spiraling because this guy's galaxy brain logic is blowing his mind. He drops to his knees, howling that even the strongest healers in the Demon King's lands can't patch her shattered mana circulation. Meanwhile, our MC is sitting there like, yo, those heroes had some insane tech, and then bro, he snaps right back to reality. That was you, you're the op one. A few moments later, Mabel feels brand new, like her mana is finally flowing the way it's supposed to. Then the PM tells her to go ahead and try casting a spell. But she sinks into self-doubt like, no way, I gave up on magic ages ago. And then, boom, get ready boys, cause a heartbreaking backstory is about to hit. Thor shuts down all that emo vibe, shoots her a stare and tells her, things are different now, try it. She taps into her inner Chunibyu, screams dark wind, and whoops, launches the Prime Minister flying across the room with a brutal blast of magic. Everybody's freaking out. Mabel just gapes at her own hands, and all I can do is whisper magic under my breath from mine. She breaks down in tears, replaying every cruel word, every time they called her useless trash. Then she straight up smashes into our boy with a fierce hug of pure gratitude, screaming, Thor-sama. She's crying her heart out, telling him the bullying never stopped, because she's an elf who can't use magic, and then he steps in like her living, unstoppable savior. Wincing as he hauls himself up, the PM blurts out that Thor is getting strangled, right now, by that savior hug. She lets go mortified, but our boy doesn't even flinch. He stays perfectly cool. All right, your monitor's fixed. Nice. But tell me, are your feet warm? That's the whole point, and my guy is locked in like a laser on the mission objectives. He's just genuinely thrilled that his inventions light up other people's lives. What a seriously wholesome guy. But then the Prime Minister flips the business switch. Stop. This thing can wake magic, and now it's under the Demon King's control, and he's got the eye for a game-breaking item the second he lays eyes on it. Thor didn't want any drama, so he just swallowed the risk, paid up like 8 had bet, and handed everything over. Then the PM offers to buy it for a fair price in gold, and our MC is just standing there, totally stunned and speechless. That dude's totally rattled, so I'm cashing in too. Yeah, I'm getting paid for this. He gets hit with a flashback to his days working trash-deer jobs in the Empire, where his paycheck was trash, and they treated him like some unpaid intern. They wouldn't even let him build the stuff he wanted, pure major toxic workplace vibes. But now my guy S got a counteroffer. He's done with the gold coins, and he makes it clear. I don't want your money. He lays out his master plan. Hand me unlimited access to the Demon King's materials and magic stones, and I'll trade you my inventions. It's a straight-up B2B deal built solely on crafting resources. The Prime Minister goes stone-cold silent, eyes locked as his mind races to process this savage gigachat move. He throws out the big question, and honestly, you're cool with your stuff getting used by non-humans. Thor just smacks him with the why not and shuts the argument down. What's the point of making stuff nobody ever uses? And yeah, this guy's basically living for that Creative Commons life. He finally spills the real mission. He's not chasing revenge. He's building items that crush what the heroes made just to flex his skills and prove he's the #1 alchemist. The Prime Minister got sold, so I'm stepping in personally to bargain with the Demon King. All right, let's go. So the Demon King is fully unraveling, straight up losing his mind. He's straight up freaking out, screaming like his lungs are on fire, while Mabel, like, yeah, I've got this, because magic is unlocked by an item Thor made for her. That Prime Minister is just standing there, totally unbothered. Like, yep, I saw it with my own eyes, my guy, and I swear my brain is short-circuiting as we speak. And get this, the Council of Elders is rattled too, because their top-tier healers couldn't do a damn thing for Mabel for years. Then our boy Thor shows up and fixes her in under a day. That's not luck, that's a straight-up skill gap. The Demon King zeroes in on the foot bath, and the Prime Minister instantly faceplants into a 200 IQ explanation. Then Thor steps in and uses 2 totally different types of magic to heal Mabel. That old dude is coping so hard it feels impossible. No way this happens. But listen, my guy straight up dissolved fire and wind magic into water like it's nothing. That's alchemy, bro, look it up. The Prime Minister just kept hammering facts, and Mabel, an elf with water powers, soaked up every last drop of that sweet mana like a sponge, turning it into the perfect tailor-made cure. It didn't just thaw her out. It fully rebooted her internal monoflow. And while all that was happening, Mabel's face exploded into a blushing mess when she realized how insanely op this human dude really is. The Demon King's still trying to play it cool like, relax, I just copied a thing from the hero's world. But bro, that's not fooling anyone. Stop coping. But the Prime Minister cuts that idea off in a flash, saying the ancient texts insist the hero's items never had buffs like that. The ancient scriptures only talked about simple healing magic, but nothing ever prepared me for this god-tier level. Homeboy's spiraling into a full existential meltdown. Like, what kind of alchemist solves a lifetime curse with nothing but a tub of hot water? And yeah, my confidence as Prime Minister is completely gone. Elma. Even the Demon King has to admit it. Yeah, I'm clueless too, but he still insists on that foot bath for Mabel. The Prime Minister's getting kinda sus, like, wait, is this really okay? Because Mabel's fully trusting that Thorfella, and that makes it feel wildly suspicious. Which is wild, because she's basically got trust issues with literally everyone. Especially since her own village basically tossed her out just for being magic. Unless she proved herself so slowly that they didn't even dare trust her yet. And then this sneaky devil unleashes the ultimate power move. He tells Your Majesty, I'll move if it matches what Mabel wants. Then pushes the biggest bombshell of all, she should marry Thor Dono. Bro, the Demon King is not playing. He slams into full rage quit mode like, nah, this is not happening. This dude is so down bad he's practically yelling, swearing he'll never let his precious subordinate and longtime friend, Mabel, get played by some human. He's done sitting on his hands. He pops up like he's been waiting his whole life and declares, I'll judge the alchemist, Thor reviews myself. Yeah, this is when everything's about to explode. Meanwhile, back in the human kingdom, some greasy-haired noble is smirking like he owns the world, gloating about the perfect way for an untalented nobody to get wiped out. And you just know that choice is coming back to bite him hard. His butler's getting blasted by a knight, yelling about fixing the princess's magic sword. The knight's standing there like, dude, Her Highness needs that sword, and the butler just shrugs like, oh yeah, that old thing. Turns out they dragged that sword to every alchemist workshop they could find, only for each one to slap it down and call it hopeless. The boss is losing his mind, even though the report swears the job is already 80% finished. The worker spilled the tea and sent the whole budget crashing, so one employee stepped in after hours, using his own money, because dude was an absolute Chad. The boss goes, "You let a guy like that slip out of here." And the worker just shrugs like, "Yeah, he's retired now." And who was this legendary employee? It was Thor Canna, yeah, our boy. The butler's gears start grinding. Wait, Canna. Thor leans in, studying that wild, fascinating guy. Turns out our MC was so dedicated. He quietly raced behind the scenes and fixed everything on his own, never once asking for credit. All because some low-rent dear noble shoved orders in his face. Get results, don't draw a single eye on you, just free labor for the taking. The worker lunges to defend Thor, but the butler snaps and screams, "Shut up." Then he steps up, striking a grand pose, and vows that the Duke's top alchemists will have that sword repaired, right now. The next day at the #1 workshop in the Empire, the master smith just waved it off. "Nah fam, this is way out of our league." And he basically went, *oof*. He tells them straight up, fixing a magic sword isn't just smashing it with a hammer. You can't slap a patch over cracked magic and call it done. You've gotta be a legit alchemy monster. Remelt the metal, then re-enchant it so it spits out the exact same magic attributes. The smith bluntly tells him, "That kind of skill is a dead art. Nobody in the Empire can do it anymore." The butler snaps awake with a horrifying realization and can only mutter, "Shit." The old smith is practically salivating over Thor's work, raving that his technique is brilliant, perfect in every single way. He drops to his knees, begging the butler to bring him face to face with the master craftsman so he can learn firsthand. And when the butler tries to cover up his huge mistake, he snaps. Silence. He's in full panic now, grabbing the smith and blurting, "I don't care if it works, just make it look fixed." He even tries to play it down, claiming the sword is just for rituals. Like, bro, really. The smith snarls in disgust, but agrees on one condition: if the butler signs off on that shady request. The butler storms off, utterly humiliated, and honestly, what a joke. And right back in the Demon King's domain, things are about to go from tense to absolutely wild. So yeah, Mabel's feeding our boy with a spoon, and he's blushing like a damn tomato. My dude tries to switch things up, barges to the Demon King for a new room. But the whole castle is totally booked, not a single spot open. Just look, Thor's terrified his alchemy experiments are one wrong step away from going kaboom. So he insists on having his own dedicated labs to keep everything from getting wrecked. Since the room is a total no-go, he's like, "Okay, 8-bet, give me a tour of the castle," and Mabel instantly jumps right on board. Bro, she's down so bad she's ready to throw her life on the line just to help him, and I'm like, "Girl, breathe." He's not asking for all that, he just wants to see the place. She wipes the table clean and shoots a promise. She'll be right back with tea, if you keep up that top-tier waifu service. Locked alone in the manufacturing room, our boy starts cooking up a brand new plan. He remembers the OG heroes had some op storage power, so he rips open a magic item catalog and starts flipping through it for a killer idea. Their storage box was basically a cheat code. Endless space, auto-sorting everything, and you could yank anything out anytime, and yeah, it was totally busted. No cap, this is straight-up ancient lost tech, the kind they don't even teach anymore. He's praying this catalog holds the blueprint for something like it. Because why not roll the dice and forge a god-tier item on day one? And would you look at that? He just stumbled on the exact thing he was hunting for. It's an ad for some tiny storage room. And of course it comes with a bunny girl mascot, because the catalog is absolutely unhinged. He double-checks the specs, and bingo, it's the very same item the heroes used, like the book actually delivered it down to the letter. The ad goes full hype mode, claiming it's a brand new dimension of space that'll blow your mind. Our boy's totally rattled, because he just realized he's about to build a literal pocket dimension. Turns out it's called the iconic White Rabbit, because the very first mob the heroes ever wiped out was this giant horned rabbit. Kinda underwhelming, sure, but hey. He's not sure he can pull off a perfect one-to-one replica. But even if it's a janky bootleg that can still hold 1,000 rabbits, that's a huge win. It's go time. My guy kicks on his full chemistry skill and fires it up to start the whole thing. But hey, this recipe still demands dark mana and my dudes are sprinting on fumes. You hate to see it. He's stressing out like crazy, clocking the trap he's in. Because the empire he came from totally ran out of that ruthless edge. He's sitting there thinking like, man, if only someone with a ton of dark mana would show up right now. Then the system blares, *Darkman acquired, And our boy just freezes like, wait, what? And guess who strolls in like he owns the place? The freaking Demon King, dead serious, the biggest walking battery of dark power in this whole castle. Like, the RNG just hit the clutch button. The king tells him to relax. No kneeling, we're good. And our MC just knows he's about to feel that massive power blasting off this guy. His alchemist senses started screaming, picking up every single detail of the king's outfit. The robes, and even the mask are packed with Esther magic items. The king gives a real heartfelt thank you for saving Mabel's magic, and right then and there, he slips up and reveals she's been like a childhood friend to him all along. Our boy drops the biggest humble brag, saying he was just happy he could help her out. And yeah, that makes him an absolute Chad. The king clocks him as kind as, yeah, he's basically suspicious, then points out that most humans who land here flip out, but Thor, he's just calmly vibing. He jumps right in and straight up asks if our boy's secretly cooking up some huge plan. The king practically explodes, yelling, "Aha, so you were plotting something." And Thor immediately whips out his notebook like a total nerd. He unveils his massive scheme to build a storage room, easy to assemble, and cram it with a whopping 1,000 rabbits. The Demon King's left speechless, because this kid is on a whole other level of weird. The king snaps the question to his face like, "So you're really trying to crank out gear that outdoes what the heroes even had?" Thor nods like, "Yep," then breaks it down. He's got an e-commerce catalog from their super advanced world. He's set on cracking their insane tech by reverse engineering it, rebuilding their gear piece by piece like a total genius. He's locked in on cracking everything wide open and leveling up his alchemy to a whole new tier. Then he starts drifting into daydreams. Like, imagine this, opening his very own alchemy shop right there in the demon territory. He instantly snaps back from the cringe, admitting he gets way too hyped whenever he talks about his craft. The Demon King can't get enough of it. He's cracking up like it's the funniest thing in the world. This kid is the most exciting break he's had in ages. So he slams down his blessing and tells him, "Bet it on the Demon King, say it loud. You're chasing your ambition, go for it." Our boy is exploding with joy. He finally got the green light to build his workshop, but then boom, he snatches up this massive chunk of metal on the spot, and the king instantly panics like, "Hold up, you're building it right now." Thor just clocks him with the butt like it's nothing. "You said it was fine." And this dude has zero chill, not even a millimeter. He tells them every piece is already ready, old shields and armor ground down into soft, usable metal, because he's not even bothering with a full-size build. The real magic is the pocket dimension he's packing inside. Now the king dumped a boatload of dark mana into him, and it's lit. He's finally ready to cook. So Mabel tells the Demon King, "Your Majesty," because once Thor hits his stride, there's literally no stopping him. And meanwhile, the old advisor is sweating bullets like, is he seriously gonna craft this thing right now? The advisor's still spiraling, but Mabel cuts in. "Nah, Thor-sama's got us." And then she reveals he even wants to sew clothes for the lizard men that won't snag on their scales. The Demon King is totally shook that a human actually cares about lizardman fashion. This guy isn't blinded by prejudice, and he genuinely wants to help their people, mad respect. Mabel flips into full best girl mode, begging, "Please, your majesty, trust my boy Thor." 8, it's go time. Thor's eyes go wide as he starts mapping out the dimensions. 2 meters in every direction, now let's get this bread. He kicks off his op chant, metal to steady the room, dark mana to anchor it, earth mana to harden the walls, and even wind mana to blast the whole space alive. Bro's absolutely cooking. He has to picture every tiny detail, how rough it feels, what color it is, the weight of it, even the smell, like his mind is spitting out a full-blown 4K rendering. Then he slams down the last command, alchemy execute, and bam, he rips open a tiny storage room out of thin air. Check out the stats on this beast. A 5-star rarity otherworld storage room loaded with elemental attributes, basically indestructible with durability that lasts 100 years. That's a high-tier pull, no doubt. He's bragging like he's done, but the second he thinks, his face drops, because it's trash tier compared to the hero's gear. He can't even copy the tiny details like the drainage system. Dude, you just made a pocket dimension. Chill. But he's not falling apart over it. He knows that tech from the other world is on a whole different tier. Yet this is only his first move, because his real mission is to blow past that op tech entirely. The Demon King and Mabel are freaking out over it. Amazing, Thor-sama. But the king's still staring daggers, because how on earth is this tiny box supposed to turn into a workshop? Thor's got that smug anime protagonist stare, daring him to think about the hero's infinite storage boxes, the classic broken ice guy item. He breaks it down like, it works just like that, and the king blurts, you serious? Then he fires back, asking if there are other space magic alchemists, only for Thor to shut it down with a grim, nah, you need dark mana, and that stuff is insanely rare in the Empire. My guy is one of a kind. Thor swallows his pride and admits, I couldn't have done it without the Demon King's mana, because the kings have had enough talk and demand to see what's inside. So our boy just grins and says, yeah, you can. Mabel tells the advisor, we'll be right back, and Thor slips inside with the king. He yanks the door open, and they dive straight into the pocket dimension. Inside Mabel, she's zooming around like she's bursting with pure hype. This is unreal, and I swear I could sprint forever in here. She even says the royal treasury doesn't have anything this good. She finally gets it. This is just the hero's tech, cop it over, but Thor's cooking something bigger. Reverse engineer it, then crank out an even better upgrade later. That's our big-brained MC. Thor's still trying to stay humble, but that hero version. With infinite space power, I've got a long road ahead. So yeah, bro, stop nerfing yourself. But you know what he says. If I can really crack this tech, I'll make storage bags, and when I do, I want you to be the first one to test them for me. Mabel's cheeks explode into a full blush. She panics. But I'm just a maid. She can't take a legendary tier item, and yeah, she's completely down bad. She's totally flustered, and our clueless MC just freezes there like, bro, read the room. She's blushing like crazy, but the second she forces out the truth, you can tell she's totally thrilled. Classic tsundere vibes, and yep, she's the kind of training waifu gold you keep wanting more of. Suddenly, the advisor starts pounding on the door. Hey, what's going on in there? And Thor jolts back to reality. We're good, sorry. Because Elmao guy totally thought they were up to something shady. The advisors show up like, 8 cool people, yeah, I'm coming in too. And he swears he's checking for safety since the Demon King's inside, but we all know he's really just dying to peek. The second he steps in, he's totally blown away. Whoa, this place is huge. It's as big as our arena. Then he finally gives Thor his props. Then boom, a wild system message slams onto the screen. SS rarity item detected ***. It auto-stores, and it thaws like ***A**. Turns out the Demon King's op robe and mask got yanked straight into storage, still locked away with all that insane element resistance. Thor and the advisor just freeze, staring with wide, shocked eyes as the king's grip of magic flickers out, vanishes into thin air, and boom, plot twist. The terrifying Demon King wasn't scary at all. Turns out he's basically a total waifu. Our boy is totally frozen, because this is the real form of Demon King Lukwar. And man, he was not ready for that RNG. Yeah, I'm just like, fine, so the Demon King's down with that, cool, and I forgive her. But she's still glaring like I stole her snack, mad and salty to the bone. A boy Thor was sweating bullets when his op shed hit him with autoloot for rare items. And bro straight up forgot his own system like a total dummy. Yep, Shed's code is pure greed. Spot rare loot and it snatches it instantly, so the Demon King's disguise got sucked up like a legendary prize. And my dude, it was straight up chaos. The Demon King snapped into full panic, yanked her face out of sight, and Mabel was sprinting in circles like a headless chicken, while our MC got flat on the floor and started a full-on dodge, begging for forgiveness. She's like, look, I get it. You didn't mean to put me on blast, so just stand up. Stop making this so awkward. She snaps that she can't exactly storm a demon empire dressed as some tiny waifu, so only her inner circle, the maids and her family, gets to see her real form. So she busted out a special item and transformed the big, scary demon lord, revealing her real face underneath all that nasty glow. Mabel tries to lift her spirits, saying her growth is just taking its time, but Luke's done with that. He shuts it down hard and turns to our MC. So what's the verdict, 8 or not, outside, or what's your take? She just straight up hits him with it. So what do you really think of my true form? And her man is immediately shook. He's stammering, hunting for the right words like his life depends on it. No, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Then he drops the ultimate simpline like it's nothing. Straight up max level energy. I'm standing there like I just witnessed a literal goddess, and bro went for the ultimate riz. She's just like her, and he doubles down hard, admitting her beauty made him question everything he'd spent his whole life building. My guy used to swear op magic items were the ultimate, but now he realized his creations are straight up trash compared to her, and she's so flustered she's basically screaming, "What nonsense are you even talking?" Meanwhile, he's unfazed, dead serious like, "No cap, these are facts." She shoots back, saying only a god-tier alchemist like him can't possibly understand what it's like to survive a life built on a mask and a lie. Then my guy hits me with a bombshell of his own. Yeah, I've been lying too, and now it's her who's completely shook. He blurts out the truth. He's no VIP at all. They literally shipped him in as a human sacrifice with a hostage on the side. His own dad basically told him to go die, calling him a disgrace to the family like it was nothing. Back in the Empire, it's all about combat stats, and since our boy is an alchemist with zero tankiness, they just label him trash tier. They treat alchemy like some cheap punchline, not a real skill, but... Then he drops a plot twist right on her, telling her being sent here was the luckiest RNG roll of his whole life. And she just snaps, "Excuse me." He's finally free to geek out and go full alchemist, cooking up creations that people don't just admire, they actually use. Mabel the maid is trying to digest this info dump. Hold up, wait, you were sent here to die. Our boy confirms it, and yeah, it's the truth. Dude, why would you drop that bomb and make us think you were some big-shot envoy? Couldn't you've used that clout to get whatever you wanted? And my guy winks like, yeah, you're totally right, then whispers, keep it on the down low, because this dude is a straight-up menace. He lays out his master plan. If his secret spills, they'll crush him and the Empire's image will plummet, so he offers a deal. I'll keep your secret if you keep mine, because it's mutually assured destruction, and yeah, I get it. And the girls are left totally speechless, like their minds just got blown clean out of their skulls. Our MC is thinking, yeah, I get it. Because this is his 5D chess play, he's building trust by making sure both sides have dirt on each other, so nobody dares to snitch. He sees straight through her. Turns out the terrifying Demon King is nothing but a scared girl in a costume, hiding because she's got zero self-confidence. And then it clicks, these two aren't that different at all. They're both masking the truth, hiding who they really are, and he finally gets it. The Demon King absolutely loses it, cackling like a maniac. You absolute mad lad, you just spilled your deepest secret to swap it for mine. She's still red-faced, yelling back at him, desperately trying to read what he's really after. He calls her out for laughing, and she snaps back. Hey, you're the one who yanked my disguise by accident. Then he goes even wilder than that move. But she has to admit it. His wild strategy actually worked, and now she has no choice but to trust him. He's all for real, and she's like, duh, since you went all in, I'm in too. Then he hits her with more flattery, and she tells Mabel to keep this entire convo locked down tighter than Fort Knox. Then she drops a royal decree, listen up. Thor's a VIP guest, my personal alchemist, and nobody dares treat him any differently. You got that? It's a direct order. Mabel shoots upright. Yes, your majesty, our boy is just sitting there watching his plan click into place perfectly. Luke leaned in and clarified, all right, here, that's how it goes. Our secrets aren't secrets unless we keep them under wraps. Then he nodded toward the door and said, come on, we can drop the act in this room. And Thor gets it. This shed is basically his safe haven, a wall between him and the world. Now it's her safe haven too, a spot where she can finally stop performing and just be herself. Suddenly, Mabel's mind ignites with a galaxy brain idea. Why don't we throw tea parties here? She blurts out, and suddenly it hits. This is the perfect chill zone for the Demon King to relax and chat like a normal guy with Thor, and the lowly king is all in before the sentence even finishes. Thor steps up and offers to build them a full tea party set, because he just wants them to have a cozy spot to chill, sip, and munch snacks. Absolute Chad energy. The Demon King's hyped as hell. This place is basically built for tea parties, and honestly, my alchemist, you're the GOAT. And just like that secret hideout flips into the official tea party room. They even slapped a wild name on it, the kingdom's tea time, and they had no clue this cute little ritual was the first spark of massive power moves for the Demon Kingdom. But yeah, we're saving that chaos for another day. 8. So Mabel, the elf maid, is over here snickering to herself while Thor is frantically trying to calm down. He asks, what's up? And she goes, oh, just laughing with Sama earlier, I was remembering Luke. Then she drops the real bomb, apparently seeing the Demon Lord lowly and all, flash a smile is a legendary teardrop moment, super rare RNG. Turns out her previous Demon King, Dad was a total psychopath who obsessed over making her just as op as him. So he forced her to level up by throwing her into fights against multiple demon beasts at once, and yeah, that's straight-up toxic parenting. And Thor's like, damn, same? Because my guy just bursts out with his own brutal backstory, how his dad's training was so merciless he genuinely thought he was gonna die. Yeah, that's exactly why he bilayed from his family's house. Because nothing says love like a good, old-fashioned trauma bonding session. Thor's just standing there like, wait, she's already insanely strong, so why am I even confused? The other maid steps in like, bruh, when it comes to magic, she's an SSS rank monster. Nobody lays a finger on her, but listen, inside the Demon King's turf, everyone's obsessed with physical stats. So the second they see a tiny waifu like Lukwur, they assume she's weak trash, and that's why she's forced to hide how she looks. No way are these meatheads judging her by her cover. They start gushing about Flame General Razinga, an absolute unit of an Ifrit, 2 meters of pure menace, built like a brick house, breathing real fire and wrecking people with martial arts mastery like it's nothing. Straight up walking raid boss energy. Thor's jaw drops, because this legend is the exact same one who battled the heroes at Flaming Mountain. But the maids are like, nah, these aren't all gain-obsessed monsters from his clan. Some of them are way too chill and honestly too kind, like they're quietly setting someone up. Anyway, Mabel's hype detonates. She remembers they've got a castle tour scheduled for tomorrow. Night crashes down on the Demon King's crib. Right as it's coming to an end, Thor leans in and thanks Mabel for everything. And this is where Mabel makes her move. She winks at him and practically orders him to drop the Sama honorifics. But our boy's a total dense MC. He keeps bragging that he's a special guest with the status of a minister, like bro read the room. She bats those puppy dog eyes and goes, just talk to me like a normal person. And boom, my man folds like a cheap lawn chair. All right, Mabel's simp mode activated. Then she snaps straight into yandere mode, grabbing his hands and pleading, please stay here forever. She's absolutely down bad. She even leans in and whispers that she wants to stay by his side forever, too. His brain just blue-screened, and in the same breath, he flipped into a blazing red tomato. Mabel clocks that she just nuked the room with a romance confession, rockets out of there yelling, have a good night. Thor stood there all by himself, gripping his chest as his heart pounded like it was starting a drum war. And my dude's actually weighing it right now. Yeah, I might be stuck here forever. He snaps into full seriousness and vows he'll never crawl back to the trash empire. No way. With his alchemy skills in hand, he's setting out to turn this place around for Mabel and Lukwur, because that man isn't wandering, he's on a mission. Meanwhile, in the throne room, Kelv, this random dude, came in hot, reporting straight to the Demon King's Chancellor. The Chancellor shoots off right away, asking if it's about our boy Thor. Kelv's still trying to wrap his head around it. Then he blurts, wait, was that thing Thor made from his healthy goods line? Bro, are you serious? Nah, it definitely was. Kelv completely snaps. Whoever saw that coming? A dimensional item, and it's hiding in a storage box. He swears it's the exact legendary loot the heroes once had. A bag of holding that can swallow an endless pile of items without running out. Then he snaps and starts screaming like something from the dead just showed up. The Chancellor's like, whoa me, I'm the one who's stunned here, now quit yelling like that, all right? But Kelv isn't buying it. This is asterisk different, and it's the exact reason the heroes were so shattered. They could just pull infinite items out of thin air. He starts bragging about how they'll yank out 100 weapons and chug potions like it's nothing. Basically the ultimate inventory hack. The Chancellor finally gets it. Yeah, if everyone had that kind of skill, we would have been wiped out already. Kelva's still spiraling out of control, and Thor just made one. He's losing it completely. Your Majesty, this is serious. We can't let him monopolize this power. The Chancellor took those face bombs so hard he crumpled to the floor. Bro, chill. Then he just yelled that he'd make one for me and Mabel. Kelv's brain flatlines. He's basically just tossing them away. And in that moment, the whole idea of rare items dies for good. The Chancellor snaps, take a chill pill, Kelv, calm down. Then boom, he hits me with the real bombshell. Thor told me he wants to be a reasonable alchemist serving the Demon King. We jump back to Luke and suddenly realize it. Those words were all it took to earn her trust. 2 demons finally nod like, if the king himself backs him, then he's real. And honestly, he handed them the foot bath without a single complaint. The bar was basically on the floor, and somehow he still smashed it. The Chancellor just smirks. Oh, this is bad news. I've never crossed paths with someone like him. I seriously can't look away from this guy. He's basically a walking plot twist, and the whole world knows it. Kelv clocks the Chancellor's insanely good mood and immediately wonders, something happened between you two. The old demon acted like it was nothing, playing it cool. Then we just chatted like normal, face to face. Then bam, boom of a flashback. Thor and Lukwur lock hands, and for a split second they finally get each other, smoothing out all that brutal political tension into something genuinely wholesome. And that's the whole crazy story right there. 8. While Thor's out ice skating through demon territory, back in the Empire, chaos is erupting. Every bougie noble in the capital is throwing a glittering fancy pants party, and they're completely oblivious to the chaos about to explode right in their faces. Suddenly, the crowd explodes into a buzz. Duke Vargas struts in, rigs and all, wearing pure smug like it's armor. And everybody's freaking out like, OMG, what a Chad. He actually sent his own son to die for the Empire's prosperity. Like, that's a hero, right? Because everyone's down horribly bad for this man. These NPCs are just stomping their feet and shouting like crazy, praising him as the role model for every noble. Yeah, the propaganda is seriously real, fam. Just a whole lot of people kissing up and sucking up, real bootlicker energy everywhere. And my man is just drinking it all in thinking, yeah, that's right, I'm the GOAT. He's got the most punchable face imaginable, yet he's out here acting like that praise is 100% deserved. And man, big yikes. He pulls this fake woe is me humble brag like, the spotlight's such a curse, while he casually tells his lackey that with that stain his own son finally gone, their family can level up at last. Cold-blooded. But then his butler, eyes wide, voice shaking, blurts out, "Boss, are we really sure about Thor's actual skills?" And the Duke totally snaps, "Don't you dare say his name. His whole job was to die and he did it. That's the end of the story, bro." He's fuming as hell. Right then, the ultimate waifu storms in, and the whole room goes WHO, because it's Her Highness, and everyone starts hyping her like she's a top-tier gacha pull. It's Rihanna, the queen of the Empire herself, and she's straight up blazing. The crowd erupts. She's gone, and oh my god, she's stunning, blazing with S-tier light magic, and yeah, it's not fair, but the queen's not here to mess around. She marches straight up to the Duke, dead serious and ice-cold, calls out the trash in the house, and the guards snatch it out immediately. Oof. The Duke is completely losing it. His face is basically a walking meme. Guards grab him and start hauling him off, and he's yelling, "Do you know who I am? I'm the Duke." But they just shrug, "Yeah, we know, the Queen ordered us to get you out." He's still begging for his life, "Your Highness, tell me, what in the world did I even do?" And she just drills him with the coldest stare. Like, after you nearly had me and my whole squad wiped out, you're really gonna say that? The Duke has zero clue. Danger's already closing in. You mean the moment you demanded the magic sword be repaired? She drops a bombshell, and yeah, I know the part you're not gonna like. I got the sword back, jammed my manhwa into it, and it shattered on the spot. Watching the Duke's face, priceless. She keeps going, and man, it gets worse. This all happened right in the middle of a brawl with a demonic beast, and I swear I was seconds from getting wrecked while my homies had to dive in and save my hide. So she dug in deeper and uncovered the truth. This repair was a full-blown scam because they slapped the sword back together with trash-grade, dear normal metal, not the real good stuff. And you can practically feel the panic crawl in. He's sweating buckets, no control left. The crowd's vibe flips in seconds. People start whispering like, does this dude even realize how disastrous it is when a weapon snaps mid-fight? And then, boom, he's branded a clown because all the fame he just grabbed is already slipping away. The Duke snaps, spiraling into full panic. No way, this has to be the Alchemist's fault. They're the ones who fixed it. He's trying to twist it like the workshop scammed them on purpose. But the Queen just shuts that down. She's already sent an envoy to get every detail. She yanks out the work order, signed by his own butler, and it straight up says the repairs are too much, so just make it look pretty, while the Rig household will take the blame for any explosions, and yeah, he just got caught in 4K. The whole room just gasps, "Bro, you're completely cooked." The Queen isn't done roasting him yet. And here's the twist. The Alchemist swore the sword asterisk was mostly repaired, with only a couple tiny flaws left. So why did the exact same asterisk spot end up wrecking her? She held up the busted blade and basically said, "Look, these parts actually got fixed and still held up to my op light magic." Then she snapped her gaze at him, "But your trash patch job, that's the one that crumbled." Now she's just flexing on him for real. That butler's sweating bullets, scrambling to steer the conversation away. Like, "Your Highness, don't tell me that sword, S just for show and ceremonies, right?" Bro is having the absolute worst day. She flat out ignores him. Then boom, my life gets saved by a real repair job done by some mysterious alchemist. So I'm hunting this person down, my personal upgrade station, no questions asked. Tell me their name, tell me where they are, now. The Duke's still scrambling to save his own hide, but yeah, he was probably dealing with some random wandering alchemist, no clue who it was, and the Queen, she's done with it. "I don't want to see your face again, get out." And just like that, the Duke of Shame storms out, slamming the door behind him. His butler is waiting on him, but the Duke's simmering with pure, furious rage. He snaps around and yells, "What the hell are you doing, you idiot? Now my reputation's in the gutter because of you." He starts pacing, realizing his family's power just crashed into rock bottom, yet he's already cooking up his next move. "I can still fix this. I'm going to show every last one of them. I'm not done, and I'm about to prove my value to the Empire. If I can just yank those dumbass demons and demi-humans into my control, I'll get my fame back, and then some." I'm talking a whole new level of power. And yeah, this dude, he's about to turn into a full-on villain. Then the story snaps right back to the Demon King's turf. Our MC, S probably just vibing, completely clueless that his dad got publicly executed with nothing but brutal words. 8. Mabel the elf maid is totally fired up, basically telling Thor, skip the grand tour, leave it to me. My dude's just locked in, staring like, yo, her hairstyle's different today. And she's totally in her tour guide groove, pointing out where everything is, maids on the first floor, his rooms on the third floor in the west building. So yeah, he's got the penthouse suite, and they yank him on a fast detour through the kitchen, where the head chef and the maids are whipping up some seriously tasty grub. Mabel is absolutely vibing, guiding him through the castle's massive halls like she's got the keys to the whole place. Next on the tour, you slam straight into the main entrance hall. She's like, this is the main hub, everything connects from here, and my boys bet 8. Thor spots a grim statue of a warrior girl and blurts, who is she? Turns out it's the OG Demon King, and our boy is absolutely spiraling. Wait, the first Demon King was a waifu. She leans in and spills it. Those swords in the statue's grip are legendary, forged from a freaking meteorite. A rare draw? Yeah. But Thor, armed with his alchemy senses, leans in and hisses to the other maid that the sword is nothing but a cheap knockoff. He's like, bro, I don't feel a single bit of mana. This is straight up fake. And the maid's just standing there totally wowed because my guy S got passive perception maxed out. Mabel gets crushed. She spills that the real one was a national treasure, until the war against the heroes got it taken down, and now the RNG gods have swallowed it for good. Our boy, forever the Chad, look, if you still got it, I'll fix it for you. The maids are like. Mabel's stumbling like, bro, this is the legendary weapon, until it hits her. That guy's an alchemy god, and she's like, okay, maybe you could asterisk. But Thor's already beyond normal. He's like, nah, skip patching up that old junk. I'll forge a brand new sword, and you know it's gonna be even more op. He's already cooking up fresh weapon stats, like a sword that can stretch for reach, or one that fires dark mana beams, ready to take on the current Demon Queen. Mabel's so hyped she basically lunges at him on the spot, full-on simping, and if you need anything at all, just ask. I got you, K. The other maid just stands there, shaking with second-hand panic, because Mabel is down bad for our boy. Even those hulking Minotaur guards are turning bright red under their helmets, buzzing with embarrassment like wasps in a trap. Right out of nowhere, some random dude barges in and asks if he's the guest from the Empire, and Mabel's just like, cool, cool, let's keep the tour going, trying to act like she's totally unbothered. This new guy doesn't even wait. He starts trash-talking right away, smirking like he's better than Thor and calling him weak to his face. And this guy's an absolute beast, 2 meters of pure muscle with blazing red hair. Straight up, a literal gigachad just rolled in. Thor snaps to attention right away. Oh no, it's the Flame General Reisinga, one of the top dogs. Raising's acting all smug, like, oh, you know me. As if he's some huge celebrity nobody can ignore. Thor acts unshaken, steps forward with confidence and says, the name's Thor Regus Delgalia Empire. The general's like, yeah, I've got your file. And then, bam, he introduces his daughter, Agnes, wearing full plate armor like she's ready to smash straight into war. Then he turns to his daughter and starts bad-mouthing her. Look at this weakling. I thought a visitor from an empire of warriors would be way more mighty. He's straight up bawling over it, like I wanted you to spar with a real warrior, but we end up stuck with this garbage tier support class and I'm devastated. Damn dude, no chill. Agnes's rage is so intense her flames start leaking out of her armor, and her dad has to bark, calm down. The general corners Thor and digs for intel, demanding the names of any brutal fighters in the Empire he can go hunt down and fight. But Mabel ain't letting that slide. She steps right in, orders the general to back off, and makes it clear that Thor's an honored guest. She's on the move, and yo, this is not the spot to be gathering intel, my guy. Reisinga lets out a loud scoff, roasting the king's noble plan to study humans with pure, over-the-top sarcasm. He's loud, but we've got to focus. Out on the battlefield is where we'll truly see their fighting power, and where my daughter and I come alive. This guy's still fuming, insisting it's all just a joke, even as they hand VIP treatment to some harmless weakling who can't fight his way out of a paper bag. He steps straight into Thor's space and fires up in his face, so Thor shoots back. What can you even do? So tell me, how in the world is someone like you, who won't lift a weapon, supposed to be useful to the Demon King? That dude's aura is so brutal it's got Mabel sweating buckets. The pressure is absolutely unreal. She's dead serious, like this absolute unit could one-shot Thor with 0 effort. Thor's furiously crunching the numbers. Maybe he could charm his way out of this, but nah, not today. Then bam, he drops the biggest bombshell. Till I die, I'm an alchemist, and with my skills I can tune up your daughter's armor. Talk about the ultimate flex. The general sneers, what could a weakling like you possibly know about her armor? And then Thor slams back with the truth. That armor is packed with an earth element, right? Then my boy starts firing off high-level alchemy like it's nothing. Earth's the element for heat resistance. But if it also had water, the steam would just roast her alive. Straight up big brain genius. Mabel's freaking out because he clocked it in a single glance. And Thor shuts her down by saying it's a super rare item with a double earth attribute. Then he slams him with a bug report. This armor's wrecked, rattling apart at the joints, all torn up against her own flames. Next, he offers to fix it for him. So, Flame General, what do you say? The general erupts in rage. This isn't your business, human alchemist. He snatches his daughter up and storms away, screaming that no weakling's hands would ever lay on her gear. As they head out, his daughter tips a tiny bow to Thor, and you can practically see her awe shining on her face. The second they vanish, the Minotaur guards start swooning for Thor, like lock screen levels, because Thor's armor looks so fearless that he doesn't even flinch. Mabel's freaking out, shouting that Razinga is straight up one of the 5 strongest dudes in the entire castle. Thor basically goes, nah, this wasn't courage. I'm just a total gear nerd, and that armor yanked me in like a magnet. He just wanted to prove to the general exactly what a top-tier alchemist can do. No excuses, no limits. Our guy finally clocks it. Maybe he shouldn't be spreading rumors about that giant, furious general who just stormed out. Mabel's right there on the tour, straight killing it. He mentally slaps a pin in his plans. Later, he's gonna corner Mabel and get the tea on those two. I had no idea that this tiny lil encounter was gonna spark some serious drama later on. I had no clue General Risinger was one step away from losing his mind and exploding with pure rage. All right, after that wild grand tour of the Demon King's place, it's finally over, and our guy is straight up thanking Mabel the maid for hooking him up. She's like, no prob, then slips into this sneaky grin and asks if he's gonna be hitting the bathhouse a lot. My guy, a true man of culture, so he just laughs and goes, you already know I'm basically a professional bather. Mabel gives him the green light to use it any time, then slams him with a huge awl, and right as he's about to go. She tells him to check the door for in use, sign first. Solid advice if you don't want to walk into something awkward. So of course our guy sprints straight to the baths, checks the door, finds no tag, and goes, sweet, we're in. He strides into the changing room, and the whole place is completely empty. He's about to finally scrub the day off his skin when, bam, he spots a whole set of badass armor sitting in the corner, and bro, it's Agnes gear. Before he can even wrap his head around it, a gigantic asterisk goes whoosh, blasting sound straight out of the bath itself. He jolted and blurted, yo, what was that? Then remembered Mabel talking about salamanders heating the water like tiny, fire-breathing tea cattle. Then his 2 brain cells finally click, salamander serving Ifrit, and Agnes is a bloodline Ifrit too, oh snap. So that armored knight is in there right this second. Instead of yeeting himself out like some unhinged lunatic, this absolute mad lad charges back and marches up to the door and yells, yo. He's hit instantly, blasting flames in his face, and this totally majestic wave of flowing hair just sweeping in like a legend. A sharp voice slices through the heat, ordering a bunch of tiny salamanders to quit their pranks, only to reveal the voice's owner is totally, completely, 100% naked. She's casually telling her lizard pets to chill, right up until the bath is finally ready. She flicks her finger, boom. A gigantic fireball rockets out of nowhere. Then she instantly panics and blurts out an apology, because her flame control is straight up trash tier. A boy goes stone cold as he realizes he's staring at Agnes the walking tank, armorless for the very first time. His brain finally snaps into place. Wait, her flames are that op, they'll torch anything, so she's gotta be naked. Then it hits him again. Wait, she's actually naked? Bro, we've already been through this. He decides the smartest play is to disappear like it never happened, but he's already toast. She spots him instantly. Busted. One of those tiny lizard guys gets startled out of nowhere and rockets itself straight at our MC. It blasts a blazing jet of fire straight into his face. But my guy's got gamer reflexes. He yanks out this weird little box, screams activate, and boom. It turns into a pourable micro-storage room that gulps up the flames like they're a smoothie. He's one of the few who actually nailed the prototype, while back there Agnes is losing her mind in full meltdown mode. She's yelling like her lungs are on fire, convinced she just turned the Demon King's special guest into a barbecue. She's freaking out about calling the healers and what to say to her dad, But our boy just strolls in like it's nothing. Nah, I'm good. He grins and tells me, yeah, I figured this was coming. So I walk in ready, then she just freezes there, staring in total shock. Then he drops the big question, number 8, and just asks real quick, could you cover up before we talk? She goes beet red on the spot and scrambles to hide everything. A little later, she's fully geared up and formally introduces herself as Agnes Frazad, apologizing like her life is on the line for every single moment of that blazing disaster. A boy named Thor tried to explain it wasn't anything suspicious. He was just curious about the heating system, and he had no idea she'd be sitting there unarmored like that. She's adamant. She keeps saying it's 100% her fault she was there, because nobody's usually around. She even blurts out she forgot to hang the in use sign, and before she can finish, he snaps back. No, there was nothing unsightly about it at all. Then he faceplants into full simp mode. You're gorgeous like a goddess. Before he rushes to apologize for being weird, bro. Realizing that apology was going nowhere, he quickly swerved the conversation. So, that Ifrit blood is pretty wild, right? He points out that her flames are so brutal they're melting her rare, high-tier armor right before his eyes. Honestly, it's sick. But she shuts that down fast, saying she's got zero control. Her powers just blaze to life the second nerves hit, and she's been grinding with her salamander friends, trying to finally get a grip on it. They're the only people she can finally breathe around, and you can tell she despises her own op power. She finally spills the heartbreaking backstory. Before her powers woke up, she could wear cute outfits, but now they slip out of her control and she accidentally starts a fire that burns everything and everyone. Thor, being the total absolute Chad he is, casually offers to fix her little flame problem, and she's so stunned she can't even ask why he'd care in the first place. Dude, I'm the Demon King's brand new alchemist. This is my job, seriously. He tells her this is the perfect shot to show the big boss exactly what he can do, and it's a total win-win for both of them. She can't even fight that logic, it hits too hard. So he just asks her to officially commission him, and boom, she cracks instantly, sobbing that all she wants is to wear clothes and make friends. My girl is so desperate for a normal life. She finally breaks and nods, lowering her head as she officially accepts his help. A boy flashes her that signature product smile, quest accepted. He's already back on his feet, ready to go to work, and thrusts her the flamesucker box from before as a temporary stopgap. Then she just freezes, staring like it's some legendary treasure. But he just shrugs it off. Nah, I can make more. Just consider yourself a beta tester. As he heads off to kick things off, she's frozen, thanking him with her whole heart, because the waifu-saving arc is officially on. So my guy learns this wild truth. Folks with Ifrit blood don't fully tame their flames until they grow older. That magic number is apparently 20, so Agnes still has 5 more years of running around like a walking fire hazard, stuck only hanging with the salamanders. Bro, that is a brutal stat roll. Thor's just standing there, staring into nothing, fully drained of life like the soul's been kicked out of him. He knows a simple bandage won't cut it. His fiery waifu needs a real, permanent solution, and he's not backing down until he finds it. Then it hits him. Bam, a light bulb flashes in his head. Because he's got that op catalog of Hero World items, and he just can't shake the idea that there's gotta be some flame-nerfing gear hidden in it. Right when he's about to start flipping pages, the elf-maid Mabel suddenly pops in and goes, Yo, Thorsama, are you good? She watched him dart around like he was on a deadline, and her curiosity wouldn't let up. So he confessed he's trying to craft something that'll help Agni control her flames. Mabel blurts out right away, so are we good friends or what? Turns out Mabel had Agni on lock, since they were kids, working their days inside the Demon King's castle. She's like, yeah, we used to be playmates. How cute is that? Then Mabel drops a total lore bomb, telling everyone the castle's got god-tier healers. These healers are so op that they can erase even the nastiest burn marks completely. It finally clicks for Thor when he pieces it all together. One clue, then two, and the whole truth hits him. He finally pieces it together. Agnes must have been the one who accidentally burned Mabel back then, and ever since that disaster, guilt has been crushing her non-stop, so she's been dodging Mabel and basically everyone. Big oof. Mabel's eyes are filling up with tears, and Thor has just been handed a mission from God. He blurts out, I'm gonna make a thing that helps Agnisan control her flames the right way. Once he pulls that off, the two of them are back to being besties, and honestly, that's peak Chad energy. He digs through the catalog and bam, he spots the perfect find, a health-enhancing pendant. That ad for it is straight-up cringe, spouting that some great teacher swears it'll balance your Kai energy. Thor clocks it instantly. This magic is built on Feng Shui, a whole different magic system ripped straight from another world. Yeah, in his world there are 6 elements. Then the hero steps in and bam, his world only has 5. Fire, light, dark, earth, wind, and metal. This pendant is built to juggle 5 kinds of mana, each one. A kai, so it can ignite your hidden power from the inside out. The logic is totally unhinged. Wood turns into fire, fire spits out ash for the earth, and the earth eventually hardens into metal. And that's just one crazy skill tree that's completely different from everything else. The pendant designs are ripped straight from a whole lineup of divine beasts, like the blue dragon and the white tiger. Mabel is absolutely stunned, so the hero's world is op enough to churn out a perfectly flawless item like that. She's shaking like crazy, whispering that it's terrifying, but Thor's just smirking like, "That's it, we're doing this," and he's ready to light the whole thing up. It's crafting time. My boy taps into over alchemy and bam, a full 3D blueprint explodes onto the screen. He knows the hardest part is coming next, engraving those ultra-detailed beast patterns on the pendant without turning the chain stiff. He starts mapping the swaps. Flame Garuda for the vermilion bird, a straight-up dragon for the blue dragon, and says the tigers are basically the same. As for the other 2, he'll have to track him flawlessly and pray it all works out. Just a second later, he's got those shapes nailed in his mind, perfect and complete. Then he's got to toss in the element-changing function. But wait, his world has no wood or metal at all. So how's he even supposed to pull this off using only fire, water, and earth? Right when the stress is crushing him, a system notification suddenly blares. You've learned element attribute manipulation of the 5 elements. And it's a clutch RNG miracle he absolutely needed. Now he finally unlocks the missing pieces. Now that he's unlocked this new skill, he's blazing with hype. Shouting, no second guessing anymore, just let's do it. He snaps into hyperfocus, seeing the finished product in his head with mind-blowing, razor-sharp detail. He made Mabel reread the book's designs, dragon check, tiger check, even the shaggy-looking animal check, and once everything lined up, he nodded. They were good to go. He seals it with a final burst of alchemy, then vows right there that he'll make sure Agnes can turn her insanely powerful flames into any other element she wants. He's going to make it so she never has to cry again, pure absolute king energy. And bam, he's done forging the health enhancement pendant, and when it clicks into place, it looks insanely badass. That item's description hits like a blueprint. 5 stacked elements, boosted flexibility and raw strength for real stability, plus healing on top. It's straight up legendary, no cap. He clutches the finished product like this has to be the one thing that finally crushes her flames. Mabel snaps into big brain mode and immediately wonders, what if we set 5 of these loose across the Demon King's whole territory? Thor catches that look like, one pendant boosts the body, so what would it do to an entire country? Mabel snaps him back to reality, bluntly saying it's way too hard and would take a mountain of approvals. But the pendant's finally finished. That's the whole victory. Now it's time to test it and see if it actually works, because if anyone can use it, he's just upgraded the whole game with a brand new standard issue op item, and he can't wait until tomorrow. So boom, Agnes's dad finally spots her wandering the castle, and pure anger hits him like a storm. Bro, we're out tomorrow. I told you to pack up your stuff. But Agnes is still out here trying to sneak in one last look around the place. Dad starts firing off a lecture. Look, I'm not mad, okay? I get it. It's just, the reason you're basically a walking fire hazard is because you've got that op Ifrit blood running through you. He's bragging that bending flames by instinct is some next-level Chad power move, and Agnes is just like, yeah, I know, I'm trash at it too. Then we cut to this brand new waifu, all fired up, bragging that she's heading back to her territory to fire up some mines and link up with the Empire. Turns out their land sits right on the border, so they have to play nice with the neighbors or it all turns into a disaster. Right here is where Agnes's dad flips, full-on salty, because he goes, speaking of the Empire, yeah, I'm their guest. And then he dead stares like, seriously, this is what an Imperial noble looks like. He bursts out laughing his head off, trashing our boy Thor for being all frail and useless in combat, calling him pathetic like a total hater. Agnes snaps she's had it with this slander, and she bellows, "Father, stop it." She instantly flips into full defense mode, but Thor, yeah, the Thor you hear rumors about, is actually a good person, and I've talked to him myself. Then she yanks out the ultimate proof, a gift box, and this guy saw I couldn't tame my flames, so he handed me something valuable out of straight-up kindness, meaning you need to stop trash-talking him. Dad just freezes, eyes locked, and his brain starts processing the new info like it can't believe what it's hearing. Then he snaps, snatches the box, and explodes, screaming, "How dare you!" like Thor just personally insulted his ancestors. He's still raging, because no stupid item is going to change the truth. You're so weak you have to hide in armor 24/7. He cuts Agnes off cold before she even gets a chance to argue. Then he slams the classic boomer parent move. Everything I do is for you, sweetie, this whole mining project. It's all for your sake. And he says it like that settles everything. He's banking on Agnes's out-of-control flame magic to torch a whole pile of monsters in the new mine, turning his own daughter into a walking WMD just to flex on the Empire. Like, big yikes. He's roaring up like your flames are gonna scorch them to nothing. Yeah, the Empire's about to get rocked. And then we finally see Agni out of her armor, completely crushed, utterly defeated. She swallows her heartbreak and nods along, knowing they're using her like a weapon. Her thoughts are nothing but tragedy. She just craves a quiet, peaceful life. But ever since she awakened her magic and accidentally burned her best friend, bad luck has followed her nonstop. But then it hits her, Thor, our boy. He never flinched from her, he stayed kind, and he promised he'd help, and suddenly she gets it. Why Mabel won't let him go. They're both just the real deal, genuinely good people. Still, she feels like she's trapped, bound to her dad's duty and those cursed flames that won't let her breathe. Her dad hands her one whole day of freedom before they set off, and honestly, he's acting like a total king. That night, Agnes's nerves are shredded to the bone. She knows Thor needs more time to finish the item, so they leave the day after tomorrow. But that deadline is impossible. And then she stares at the box he gave her. Those words alone are what spark hope inside her. She makes up her mind on the spot. Tomorrow, she's gonna thank him properly, no excuses. Meanwhile, at Demon King HQ, the big boss and his advisor are chewing through battle logistics, because tracking down a workshop for Thor is a full-on nightmare. He's got this whole list of demands, easy access to materials. And yeah, try pulling that off when you're just a human stuck in demon territory. And yeah, they can't let him just roam around where random thugs could jump him. And they definitely can't have him out mining in the public park. The Demon King finally admits it's way too dangerous to let him roam in a packed crowd. So here's the move. He's got to hire a bodyguard right now. And then the king throws out Agnes' dad, Risinga. The princess cuts in fast, reminding Risinga she already told him to calm down and stop harassing her guest. But she can't go too hard on him, because if she does, Thor will take the blame, and suddenly the whole kingdom plunges into a political mess. Everyone agrees, get Thor to a remote, private spot fast, so his op crafting station can be set up in total secrecy. The Demon King barks the order, and his advisor immediately snaps into action. Next morning, Thor is pacing and waiting. Agnes has to show up, and he won't stop watching the door. He steps up to greet her, and she's still fully armored and ready for a trek. And would you look at that? Mabel, the best girl herself, tagged right along to be the ultimate wingwoman. Agnes showed up to say her goodbyes, already convinced nothing would ever work. She's like, thanks for offering, but I know you couldn't have finished it in time. And before she can even blink, Thor slides in with this smooth little cut-off. Oh no, it's already done. Total absolute Chad. He yanks out a nasty-looking pendant and growls, "This is the thing that'll douse your flames," and Agnes is absolutely rattled. He explains that this Esther item can flip her fire magic into totally different elements, dragging her uncontrolled flames down hard while it's active. She absolutely snaps, shrieking like the world's ending. Bro, did she really speedrun a legendary item from scratch overnight? Mabel, always ready for anything, shows up with a fresh set of clothes. She orders Agnes to rip off the armor, then Agnes instantly flips out. She gets hit by a PTSD flashback. Suddenly she's back in the burning scene, watching it all happen again, and it's her friend she can't save. She's terrified she'll torch Mabel's clothes and hurt her all over again. But Mabel trusts Thor's abilities with her whole heart, and Thor swears he'll tweak the pendant right then, and there if anything goes sideways. Top-tier support, no questions asked. Then Thor hits us with the most legendary line. "As long as you want it, I'll remake and forge magic items for you, Agni-san." That's what he's here to do. My man is down bad in the most respectable way possible. That line hits Agni straight in the heart. She realizes this guy is the only thing that can soothe her soul, and if she lets this moment slip, she'll be haunted by regret forever. Bare at last, she drops her armor, steps up to him, and begs, "Thor, Rigsama, please, let me use the item you made for me." With a grin blazing on his face, he finally hands her the key to her brand new life. So our boy Thor is just kicking back, while his tiny dragon squad is sprawled out cold, like they got knocked out mid-move. Suddenly, bam! A sound at the door snaps him upright and makes him jump. And would you believe it? Agnes the night girl is back, looking him dead in the eye and saying she's ready. Bro, she storms in rocking a homemade outfit and she won't stop, straight up asking if she looks weird. Then Thor, the absolute Chad, blurts out, "You're crazy cute," zero hesitation. And she just collapses from that compliment, straight up going full tsundere, blushing hard, then snapping, "No, that's not true." Right as he hands her that op pendant, it starts glowing, and boom, a system message flashes. Vitality plus 100%. The pendant is burning through her extra fire magic and reshaping it into brand new elements. Talk about an insane buff. Her chest piece starts glowing like a furnace, yanking all that fire magic in midair, then remakes it into wood, ground, metal, and water. That triggers a whole chain reaction. Boom, her mind and spirit get a full body power-up, and she's stacking buffs like crazy. Homegirl is absolutely shook. Her eyes are lighting up like she just spotted a limited edition Funko Pop. Another status screen erupts, bam. Flexibility plus 100%, vitality plus 100%, and this pendant is the Esther, no caps. She's so smooth, it's unreal. He starts twirling like he's weightless, and the new stats make him feel feather-light. She's so amped she starts bouncing around like crazy, and even the tiny dragon pops awake just to join the cheering. But then my girl misreads the new buffs and boom, she launches herself straight into the stratosphere. Whoops. While she's midair and her outfit basically explodes in the worst way, our MC shoots in fast. "Don't worry, you won't burn your clothes anymore." And she instantly shrieks, "I'm not wearing any panties." Dude, the whole room just goes dead silent. My MC and that elf maid are blushing so hard they look like straight-up tomatoes. Our boy instantly goes into damage control. "I didn't see a thing, I'm so sorry." Smooth, bro, real smooth. Meanwhile, the system keeps hammering her with even crazier stat boosts. At this rate, she's about to turn into a full one-woman army. Agnes is mortified, insisting that the pantyless feature was just an accidental side effect because of the whole sewer situation. But Thor, acting like that brutal L never happened, is grinning from ear to ear because the experiment, total success. Mabel, the elf-made doll, is bursting with joy. She grabs Thor's attention and thanks him because her wish has finally come true. She bursts over and crushes Agnes in a huge hug, and the second it lands, Agnes starts freaking out. Agnes is panicking over her flames, but Mabel steps in like, "Nah, you're good now, everyone's fine, fam." Then Mabel hits you with a total bombshell. "About that trauma you've got from burning someone, yeah, turns out that was probably me. My bad." She bursts into tears, confessing that Agnes once snapped in the past because baby Mabel was fangirling way too hard over her magic awakening. And she blurts out, "It was my fault, I'm sorry." Mabel remembers Agnes spiraling into non-stop apologies again and again after the accident. She tells you to your face, "It's not your fault, and you're not going to hurt anyone ever again." And now she can finally wrap her arms around people. No more turning them into charcoal. Wholesome moment unlocked. Agnes is straight up falling apart, waterworks non-stop, ugly crying like pure happiness just blew her mind. After the tears, Mabel grins and starts playfully squishing Agnes' face, trying to shake her out of the sadness. Then she whips around to our guy and goes, "All right, your move, Thor-sama." Mabel, the ultimate wingwoman, tells him to hug Agnes too, and my man is absolutely shook. She's basically telling Agnes to treat it like exposure therapy, get her mind used to physical contact. Then she slams Thor with the ultimate loaded question. "So, tell me, do you actually hate the thought of hugging Agnes-sama?" And our boy got so flustered he blurted, "I don't," like it was the only thing he could say. Now they're just frozen in place, faces betread, stuck in the most awkward about-to-hug pose imaginable. And of course, MC's mind immediately slams straight into the gutter. Wait, hold up. Is she seriously not wearing a single thing underneath that? Right when the tension is about to explode, this giant armored brute crashes in, screaming Agnes. Then roars, "Where did you go?" He spots them and bursts into a huge grin. "Oh, so THATS where you've been, my daughter." Boom, General Risinger, an absolute unit of a dad, shows up on our boy like a thunderclap, and the look on his face says, "I'm not buying this. You're not supposed to be here with my daughter." He's like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And my dude just slaps him with the most awkward, "Ooh, it's complicated" grin like, "Bro, read the room." This Pops is losing it. He's screaming, "What are you doing to my daughter?" Like RMC is some kind of villain. Mabel the maid just lunges in like the real deal, straight up shielding Thor. She's going, "I'm not moving," even as her dad is moments away from going full Super Saiyan. The general snaps into full rage mode, yelling he'll haul our boy back to his territory to make him pay for his sins. Bro, chill. He literally just helped her. Our MC Thor tries to calm things down, just hear him out, okay? But the dad's having none of it. He yells at him, "Speak again." And right then your mouth disappears as an asterisk zips past him like a bullet. Because it's moving that fast, even Mabel can't even breathe with it. She's getting completely blitzed. And to be crystal clear, this isn't some random dad. This is the Flame General, a legendary warrior who can steamroll 100 soldiers single-handed with his blazing spear, a total menace on the battlefield. Now that legendary arm is barreling straight at our boy. Right when he's about to smash our MC into a pancake, asterisk asterisk bam. Agnes, his own daughter, slams into the attack and blocks it, and then she snaps, "Dad, calm down and listen." And he pops his shook like Agnes. Because my girl just got a massive stat boost, like plus 250% to her vitality, stability, and a whole laundry list of buffs. She's completely cracked. The general is totally trapped. He can't even rip himself free from her grip, lol, he's getting wrecked. He's screaming, "Agnes, what happened to you?" while staring in shock at the crazy new power level she's packing. My dude is totally stunned. She just got out of nowhere with that. How did you even get free? Energy and bam, she's suddenly unstoppable. A boy Thor jumps in. Lord Thor gave everything for Agnes. And yeah, that wording sounds a little sus, but hey, let's roll with it. The dad instantly clocks it. She's not in her special armor anymore, just regular clothes, and he blurts, "Wait, what?" Because thanks to Thor, she finally gets to wear normal stuff without her magic going completely haywire. Thor's trying to explain, "An alchemist, I heard what she's dealing with, and I've got a solution." But this guy's brain just flat-out crashes and blue screens. He immediately sprints to the absolute worst conclusion. "You filthy pervert. You're saying you told her the clothes were flameproof just so you could watch them burn off. Bro, what?" That man has zero chill and full-on parental paranoia. So Thor's like, "Behold," and then he casually steals the general's own flames, yanks them straight into his hand like it's nothing, then drops the line like, "Yeah, I've got it." The general is totally stunned. "Acha, my flame, what in the world are you?" "Yeah, you're not messing with some run-of-the-mill alchemist, my guy." And then our MC hits us with the coldest line of the whole series. The alchemist who serves the demon lord. Boom, absolute mic drop. He lays it all out. His only mission is to wipe out the problems in the demon realm so everyone can live easy, and that's why he's no villain. He's a straight-up problem solver who just fixed Agnes, magic trouble. Thor's like, "Look, I get it. You might not believe me, but just listen for once." Meanwhile, the dad is still getting strangled by Agnes' grip, completely losing the fight. He's screaming, "You're coming with me," and lunges to grab his daughter again. This guy seriously has zero clue when to stop. But Agnes is pinned there, gripping him tight. An absolute wall, he can't move an inch. She's literally begging him to stop. Like, please. While he's raging, screaming that he's doing it for her, bro, and if this doesn't chill out, she's gonna have to unleash her full power on her own dad. Alright, so the maid is standing her ground, staring down this absolutely juiced-up fire golem of a guy. Thor and the elf girl are totally rattled, watching everything unravel right in front of them. The big guy is already unraveling. He can't even get through a single sentence before he breaks down. He's yelling like crazy, "What, bro? How are you so op? Dude looks like he's not having a good time at all. I'm dead skullface." Turns out Agnes is unleashing all that rage in her magic. She's going full Super Saiyan mode, maid edition. The dudes are like, "Wait, where are these flames even coming from?" And the other maid just blurts, "That's all thanks to our Chad Lord Thor, my guy." MC realizes she's pouring way more energy than normal into her pendant, and it's seconds away from bursting off her hands. And it's working. She's got enough juice to slam the brakes on Shah Gun mid-step and freeze him in perfect lockdown defense. But she makes it crystal clear, this Thor power-up isn't meant to smash anyone. No, this is strictly for guarding the people she holds dear, and yeah, she's giving full protagonist energy. She's basically Lord Thor told me. Say the name and I can step in and help people. And boom, this system casually slams down a 400% vitality buff like it's nothing. Yeah, that item is straight up broken. And Daddy Dearest is completely snapping, screaming like it's impossible. Like my guy's entire worldview is crashing down in real time. He just flings the giant dude up into the sky like he weighs nothing, then screams that she's finally apologized to Lord Thor, because she went from maid to pro wrestler so fast it feels unreal. He's sobbing, begging her to let him down, and that tiny witch girl just grins like, "Told you, those op stories about him were real," turning it into the wildest fangirl moment. So they lay everything out, and turns out Thor didn't just help. He custom-built a special item made to steady Agnes' wild, out-of-control flames. And the shotgun is trembling in terror, realizing he just messed up in the worst way possible. She lifts the drip, the vitality pendant, and suddenly her fire magic gets smothered, then even flipped into other types, like it's straight up a legendary tier monster item. So now Agnes can finally strut around in cute clothes like a normal person, and the Shogun is absolutely stunned. WH1. Thor just gives a quick nod like, "Yep, that's me." Then he jumps right in and solves whatever comes at him. Agnes finally gets to live her best life, slipping into that cute maid outfit she's always dreamed of, because Thor pulled the strings. It slams into him like a wrecking ball. "Wait, what did I do?" He blurts, trembling because he just tried to beat up the very guy who helped his daughter. And bam, he crashes to the ground with a full-on doja, yelling, "I'm so sorry." He's down bad, begging for forgiveness after he acted like a total clown to the one person who was actually trying to help his daughter. "Please, just forgive me." Thor's just standing there, and then it hits. He's got tears in his eyes, fighting back heartbreak for his daughter. Those shotguns were wailing like Thor wasn't even scared of them, for Agnes's sake, no less. While Thor stared and thought, "Damn, this guy's actually a solid father." He finally confesses that his vision has been clouded, so he's been totally unable to see what people are really like. So yeah, the smart move he makes next. He starts wrecking his own eyes, bro, seriously. Thank goodness Thor rockets in and cuts him off. "Whoa, whoa, dude, you're taking this way too far." He leans in and tells him, "Listen, if I'm gonna be in the devil's territory from now on, you can't keep trying to gouge your own eyes out every time you spot me." The Shogun practically begs, "Please let me pay for that." And Thor's goes, "A price, huh?" Like, right there, you can see the gears in his head start turning. All right, then our boy stares up at that massive castle and goes like, "No way." He tells you that it's not just the comfort. Agnes's condition is actually getting better now that she's able to ignite her flames. Thor can't stop thinking this guy is way more of a father than his own trash dad ever was. And the Shogun buys in fast, agreeing to follow his advice and actually promise a normal, real relationship with his daughter. We love watching the character growth happen. All right, brace yourself. New scene. We're stepping straight into the Demon King's mining zone. And it's instantly creepy as hell. Giant spiders are lurking in the shadows like they're waiting to pounce. They're just wrecking shop, barreling through helpless people and leaving nothing but chaos behind. But then, bam, another fresh squad of adventurers shows up, grinning like they're about to crash the party and throw down. The boss is pumping up his crew, claiming a legendary treasure is buried right here, and he's got zero fear of demons. His motto's dead simple. If it gets in their way, he cuts it clean in half, classic meathead logic, and his goons are gobbling it up, hyping him like he's the star of the whole damn show. He smacks the spider on the spot, and his boys are all like, "Yo, boss, so badass." Then right on cue, he gets nailed by a surprise web shot from off-screen. Oof, I spoke way too soon. And just like that, he's gone, straight up erased, no coming back. Man, that character arc lasted about as long as a blink. Then the real boss finally steps in, a spider as big as a truck, and the whole squad instantly freaks out, scattering and sprinting for their lives. The giant spider kicks off a full-on rampage, flattening the rest of the crew like bugs, instant total party wipe. Just another normal day in a high-level zone, or that's what I told myself. Meanwhile, back at the castle, Thor is straight up kicking back and relaxing. He's testing out a fresh pickup from Agnes, an actual space element stone. And the second he grips that meteoric iron, space magic jolts awake in him like it was always waiting. Seriously, this guy's RNG is on a whole different planet. He's totally losing it over all the new elements he's unlocked after stepping into demon territory. He's got the 4 basics locked in, and now he's piling on space like it's a brand new weapon, collecting them one by one like Pokemon. He's got a little time to burn, so he heads straight to the storage room the Demon King pointed out and starts cleaning it up. He swings the door open, and boom, it's not some boring storage room, it's a full-on treasure mountain, and he's grinning like a kid who just spotted candy everywhere. He spots a sickly-looking magic sword, and it's an exact match for the one carved in the statue of the first Demon Lord. But right as he's admiring it, bam, jump scare, the Demon King herself suddenly pops up and goes, "Hey, are you there?" Like, bro, knock first. All right, so Thor's out here trying to impress Demon King Lucia for the next big party. He leans in like, "So, what do you think?" And she's basically a flawless, straight-up 10-10 waifu. But she's not buying that whole "Your Majesty" act. When he tells her they're just friends and they both keep the same secret, something about it still doesn't feel right to her. Then she snatches the boss card like it's a weapon. "Next thing I know, I'm ordering you to call me Lucia." Bruh, she's really flexing the tyrant move just to make him say her name. Low-key, and yeah, that's honestly kinda cute. And my man folds immediately. "Yeah, I get why Lucia-sama," but then he's like, "Hold up, shouldn't we keep this quiet until the party?" Rage might be loud, but he's straight up worried about the optics. Lucio is so down bad he's basically malfunctioning, blushing hard, spiraling, and convinced he can't take another second of it. Thor clocks it instantly and goes, "Oh, how cute!" And bro, the romance in the air is so thick it could practically be spoon-fed. She sidesteps the whole awkward mess by firing off, "So what have you been up to?" Then adds, "I was cleaning your workshop and I found something." He yanks out this beat-up, sketchy sword he just found. And yeah, it's not the legendary blade from the statue. Thor taps into that massive alchemist brain of his and clocks it instantly. This is basically a trash deer prototype. Like some guy tried to rip off the legendary sword, lost the RNG, and tossed the failed copy in the corner. And yeah, he goes and shows her. This blade is totally busted, it can't cut a single thing. It's a straight-up failed product, my guy. Lucia leans in and says it's an ancient project from her grandpa's days. A wild collab between an elf and a dwarf that never even made it off the ground. Thor gets all bashful and blurts out, "Can I keep the sword?" Even though technically it's her call, she just stares like, "Seriously, why are you asking me?" So she straight up hands him the battered sword, right there like it's her final move. And that's when it hits him. Bam, a light bulb sparks in his head. Wait, could this replica let him forge a real magic sword? He blurts out his dream, forge a weapon so op it shames the Empire's holy swords. But there's one brutal catch. He's got zero combat skills, so if he uses it himself, it'll be a full-on waste of materials. His master plan? Simcraft an ultimate weapon for Lucia to unleash when she goes beast hunting. And honestly, what a total Chad. Lusher is practically floating, blushing hard, beaming, thanking him left and right. Then she pauses like, "Hold up." Another guy jumps in and basically yells, "What you guys really need is ranged weapons. Guns, bows, anything. So you can hit the beast from a safe distance, not swing yet another sword." And just like that, it thaws off to the next project. "I get it. I'll see what I can whip up." He rockets straight to his workshop, and Lucia just winks like, "Sure, he's totally free, right?" Right after the wild lore dump about what demon beasts really are. We watch our boy slam into the books and go all in like his life depends on it. His maid, Mabel, leans in and asks what he's cooking up next. Sure, he's kinda bummed about that sword. But the moment demon beasts are on the table, his excitement snaps right back as he gears up for a brand new project. Suddenly, he lands the perfect blueprint, and just like that, he says, "All right, I'm making this." Mabel sneaks a look at the book and freezes, utterly lost. The black cylinder with a clear tip is staring back at her, and the words inside are pure alien gibberish. Thor's like a custom-built weapon meant to cut down beasts. "Mabel, I need your help." While it's still crafting, he slams out super alchemy, mixing a magic stone of light with a magic stone of darkness, to forge a razor-focused beam. Then he slaps in wind elements to blast that light even farther. This guy's a full-on certified genius. He grits his teeth and pours every ounce of focus into it, forcing a beam of light to snap into a perfectly straight line. One more super alchemy activation, then everything's about to explode. He whips up a 4-star rarity laser pointer. Yeah, that's the moment I'm done for. He's strutting like he just won the whole universe, yelling, "I did it!" and swearing this is the ultimate weapon from the brave world, like that somehow makes it unstoppable. Mabel is totally flabbergasted. She blurts out, "What even is a laser pointer? And what kind of op skill lets you read that ancient catalog?" That instruction manual screams 90s commercial energy, basically begging you to treat it like a must-have for your presentation, while somehow it also sends pesky little creatures fleeing. Thor has zero clue what a presentation even is, but he's dead sure this thing is Esther. While Mabel just stares at him, pure skepticism written all over her face. She's stuck on that line about teachers transmitting info to a target, and she's just like, "Wait, what does that even mean?" They take it as proof. A commander can pinpoint the enemy with such precision that his soldiers will strike exactly where the mark lands. They're riding the hype, convinced this means the enemy will crumple instantly. Quietly, no alarms, no noise. The manual even warns, "Never use on humans," and it talks up the competition results. So they're convinced it's a hero-only weapon built for teams that fight and kill beasts. Mabel's mind absolutely detonates with the realization, so the presentation has to be the beast-slaying competition, right? The logic's a total leap, but they're going all in anyway. Thor's blown away, of course. That's Mabel for you, and the second she gets it, she's instantly all flustered and red-faced. They're convinced it's that legendary long-range weapon, the one the hero used to wipe out a brutal beast in a single shot. And get this, the annoying creature in the manual looks exactly like the bird beast they're supposed to fight. There's no question about it. These guys are 100% locked in on their theory. They're picturing that laser pointer turning into a world-shaking superweapon. A spine-chilling relic from the hero's world, straight out of a nightmare. The last shot locks in on them staring dead serious as a ghostly PowerPoint salorum looms over their heads, because the era of that terrifying presentation has officially begun. He's fully geared up. This is exactly what we need to hunt those beasts. All right, let's do this. So these randos start going at it over battle strats. One guy's like, the elf stays in the back, she needs protection. And the big minotaur's like, nah, she's gotta watch our backs. And the poor elf's just standing there sweating like, bro, I was way too far out. I'm shook. This guy's fully panicking, yelling, I can't push if our backline isn't locked down. Turns out your boss, Gargarossa, is this giant spider monster. And then bam, you get Zerg rushed with a whole army of Minami freaks. Big yikes. So they roll out a genius plan. The Minotaur charges in pure lyric Jenkins chaos, while the elf plucks targets from a mile away, staying out of danger the whole time. Thor watches the whole scheme play out and straight up thinks, nah, this plan's trash. The second that tank rolls in, he's already clocking it. Those little mobs are gonna swarm the supports like flies. Look right there. That's your average mage's max range, and yeah, it's pretty basic. Then they finally hit the training ground, and right there waiting is the target. The mission is brutally simple. Land that shot and nail the bullseye. But Thor ain't here for normal. He pulls out his brand new laser pointer and dares the game to try breaking his physics, like bet this thing buffs my range. He aims the laser pointer, and a sharp red dot snaps onto the target. Then he yells at Mabel, 8, focus your spell on that dot. Mabel surges, powering an icicle arrow, let's go. And bam, right on target, a clean direct hit. Mabel was basically shaking like someone just nailed her with Thor's power. Now that he's already hyped, let's hit it from way farther away right now. No cap, she just nailed the target from 5 times the usual max range, and that's a straight-up massive power-up. So they crank it up, double the distance, and boom, another clean bulls. This is officially out of control. Meanwhile, we get a flashback where the Minotaur blasts the elf, screaming that spells have a max range, and that the elf can't just hide way back there and expect it to work. He's like elves belong way back in the fight, but nah, he draws the line right there, and bro is not letting that slide. Back in the present, those two clowns are staring at our crew practicing from way out there, squinting like, who the heck is out there trying to cast spells? And yeah, it's total madness. Suddenly, the elf's eyes snap to a lightning-bright flash tearing through the distance. In kaboom, the target gets absolutely demolished, jaws dropping to the floor in pure disbelief. Our boy crunches the numbers and proves the spell range jumped by at least 3, then checks it 5 times like a madman, only to realize they've basically run out of training ground to test more. It's op through the roof. Mabel can't even breathe yet. She's still trying to wrap her head around this cheat code. Thor-sama, what the heck is going on? We're way past the limit. Thor's mind is firing on all cylinders. He suddenly clocks it. Every single shot hit the exact same spot, dead center where the laser was aiming. He lays out his theory. When you point that laser, it forges this magical tether straight from you to the target, like a real lock-on system. It literally shoves the spell through the magic current it summons, like homing missiles, baby. That elf waifu is absolutely rattled, because she just realized how deadly an item like this really is. The power it carries is wild, like way beyond normal. No way it isn't something straight out of the hero's world. All right, our experiments finally hit success, and now we're ready to march it to the big boss. But MC stops us and says, wait, let's clean up this mess we just made first. The two onlookers are losing it. Yeah, you heard me, you're cleaning the mess yourselves. Thor keeps it calm like it's no big deal. Got it. Thanks for the help, and yeah, sorry for the hassle. And just like that, the Minotaur's brain finally clicks. He realizes Thor's tech wipes out that whole maximum spell range problem for good. One of the girls blurts out that Thor-sama can actually fix those broken items. And their faces just crumble. Pure awe hits so hard they can't handle it. The tale snaps right back to that fancy demon counselor, Kurov. He just turns to them like, so you're the two commanders who saw this. He tries to brush it off like, hold up. But what are you even talking about? Thor-sama and Mabel work for the Demon King, of course they can handle it. But my guy is down bad for gossip. He leans in with that creepy smile like he's about to steal the spotlight, and when you say you've got a weird item, he's like, spill it. Give me the full tea, I don't know the whole story yet. Once he hears that, he totally snaps, screaming Thordono at the top of his lungs, get in here and explain yourself right now. Yeah, Kurov just heard the full rundown on Thor's broken custom items, and he's straight up losing it over how much freedom he's getting. Meanwhile, across the way at the main castle, the tension was already crackling in the air. This absolute beast of a general is gearing up to meet an envoy from the Empire. She's freaking out that her dad's about to blow up and start begging, so she's trying to stop him, stay respectful, and not pick a fight with the Empire reps. She locks eyes with him, the full-on serious anime glare, like she's ready to call him out right there. He gets all sentimental and admits her stare is just like the one his late wife used to give him. Then it hits him so hard right in the heart that he vows to behave. This is huge, because the fate of the whole empire and the Demon King's territory hangs in the balance, and he's already sworn an oath to the Flame Giant. No way is he letting this blow up. And that oath to the Flame Giant isn't just a fancy promise, it hits with two meanings. First, it means you're ready to die for your king, yeah, real standard knight business. But the second part, that's basically a marriage proposal, except it's way more metal than romantic. Then we get a heartwarming flashback of him and his wife, two different vows, spoken on the very same day. Back in the present, the general tightens his fist, still replaying the moment he tried to look tough and scare Thor. Now he's cringing like he can't believe he ever acted like that. Right now, he's telling himself the only thing he can do is grow up into someone they wouldn't be ashamed of. So yeah, character development time, let's go. Right then, a maid burst in and announced the envoy is ready, so he steps into the spotlight. Showtime. He bursts into the room and locks eyes with the envoy, this chubby powerhouse called Marquis Gora. The Marquis starts showering the general in relentless compliments, praising him like a straight-up legend. He's thinking, wait, people said this guy's an arrogant meathead, but he looks surprisingly chill. Okay, time to get down to business. All right, here's the deal. This empire will roll in with 100 to 200 soldiers to wipe out that giant spider boss. The commander nods, and right then, the negotiation turns. Now they're hashing out the payment. But this slimeball leans in and asks to stretch the silver payment plan for 4 whole years. Yeah, that reeks of something fishy. Then he throws out a crazy idea. Maybe the general himself could send the silver from the empire as a straight-up thank you payment. The general snapped, "Are you seriously telling me to deceive my king?" And this guy just panicked like, "No way, I'm not doing that," while he basically fudged the mining report numbers. He's basically pitching a hush-hush alliance built on embezzlement. Join me, he smirks with a greasy wink, and you'll get a powerful friend inside the empire. The general's inner monologue basically screams, "I don't trust this guy for a second, and honestly, Sherlock, you don't say." The envoy suddenly snaps, "Wait, you know that Thor guy? Doesn't he?" And he cuts himself off like the answer is right there, ready to blow their minds. His plan is simple. If those sketchy backroom deals ever blow up, he's going to throw Thor under the bus as the fall guy. The general is so shocked he freezes. No words, no sound, just pure silence. The envoy spills the entire trash tier scheme. Like, we'll pin the silver embezzlement on Thor Dono, while the general walks away squeaky clean. Don't you think that's wild? Thor Dono is about to serve the empire and the general with his life. And yeah, this guy is a straight-up certified villain. He spits that our boy is useless trash, then acts like once he's gone they'll finally build a beautiful relationship. But the general's had enough. He hammers his own gauntlet through the table with one brutal smash, fury burning all over his face. The envoy starts sweating, scrambling for excuses, but the general snaps and cuts him off mid-sentence. The general just nods like, "I see," but the aura rolling off him is pure terror, and the envoy finally realizes he messed up. He snaps into full demon mode, barrels right up in the envoy's face and barks, "Shut your mouth, don't you say another word." He explodes, "Deceiving my king is a grave sin," he says. "Yet now you're turning around and blaming my benefactor, the same man who will be my daughter's husband." The envoy is seconds from a heart attack, friend, right there beside his husband. The general struck a steady stance and powered up, then declared loud and clear that a conversation just isn't happening. Then he snaps, screams, "Get out of here." Rage rips through him, and the envoy gets blasted clean off the ground. "I don't want a single word with scumbags like you, so don't you dare show your face in front of me again or we're done." Now that's a Chad move. The envoy gets flung out the door in a tumble, sobbing like, this wasn't how it was supposed to happen. Just then his daughter barges in and takes one look at the mess. "Father, what on earth happened?" And the general immediately turns away, mortified. He keeps muttering to himself like, "I still don't know enough," then immediately tanks the whole be respectful side quest. All right, we're fully in the Demon Lord's turf right now, and this place looks straight up like the final boss castle, no cap. A few days later, the Demon Lord's right-hand man slips in with a report, and my guy, it's straight up piping hot. They just handed over the full scoop on that shady Marquis Galoa. Turns out this dude wasn't just trying to pocket silver from the mines. He was the mastermind clown who set up the whole scheme to get Thor yeeted. For flipping the script, the Empire promised Racinger full military backup, like talk about a glow-up from rat to royal. The Demon Lord is seething, totally blindsided, and this level of backstabbing has him furious. His aide slaps a letter from the Empire into his hands, and it reads like the world's weakest apology, trying to sell it as just a few rogue border lords, like the entire Empire isn't rot. Aide is rattled when it hits. This was the whole scheme to turn Thor into a literal human sacrifice, and the Demon Lord faceplants the truth, finally realizing how brutally they played our boy. And over in the wholesome corner, Lucy's spiraling into a full-on meltdown, wrecked by just how cruel everyone's been to Thor. Back in the throne room, the aide steps up like, "I'll tell Thor," but the Demon Lord cuts him off. "Nah, Thor's my alchemist. This message is mine to deliver, okay?" He flat out owns it, saying he's the one who okayed the mind development in the first place, so every bit of fallout lands on him. That giant himself decides to storm straight into Thor's room and deliver the news face to face. That Prime Minister guy's stuck in his own head, convinced Lord Thor just trapped him in an ironclad debt. He's sitting there like, that general's snitching and still telling the full truth, no cap. If he'd lied even a tiny bit, that trust would have shattered instantly, gone like it never existed. This conspiracy was straight up next-level 5D chess. So now he's swearing he'll grant every wish Thor drops, and bro's fully locked in, ready to simp. The Demon Lord just lays into him with a brutal roast, then asks, "Bet you can't back it up, so go on, big shot, you got the funds for a whole mountain of magic items." Meanwhile, Thor is unleashing every juicy secret, spilling all the tea to Lucy and the whole squad at their tiny party. Lucy is straight up losing it, like she can't even process what's happening. And not only did your dad exile you as a sacrifice, he also tried to pin the blame on her like she was the real criminal. She's hurting so bad her instincts kick in. She snatches his hand and grips it tight, trying to comfort him before he even realizes he needs it. But our boy Thor, smooth as ever, is out here like, "Yo, chill." And it's honestly kind of embarrassing seeing you cry for me. The elf maid jumps in with the real questions. Why would his dad go so far as to frame her? Thor just shrugs and blames it on the Empire's whack policy, like that's the whole reason. He tosses out some family lore. Turns out his grandpa was a legendary sword saint, but those low-level bandits still absolutely clapped him because the dude was drunk. Pure RNG chaos. He might have been too young to recall every detail, but that moment still burned itself into his memory. That's why he realized going op with a sword is pointless if one tiny weak spot can wipe you out. So instead, he'd rather use his alchemy to genuinely level people up and change lives. Absolute Chad. The girls are straight up vibing with his philosophy, but Thor's already sweating because he knows his dad would never, ever sign off. The Empire was built by people with no off switch. Power, fame, whatever it took. Anything they could grab to get exactly what they wanted. Lucy can't even process a dad sacrificing his own son, but Thor. He's already snapped past it, so fed up with his family that he's decided to ditch his name. He drops the bomb, "Call me Thor Cannon from now on." Then he swallows his pride, grabs his mom's family name, and flips his dad off in the most ruthless way possible. The girls are totally sold on it, saying, "Thor Cannon? That name's got a ring to it." He says, "For boring official business, I'll still use the liege's name," but with his crew. He's going full cannon. Then Lucy blurts out, "What's going on in your head?" And then it hits him, he's been holding her hand the whole time, instant cringe overload. Yeah, you can let go now." She panics and blurts out that she didn't plan it at all. She just grabbed his hand on pure impulse because her heart was breaking for him. Thor knows the moment is here, and Max Riz gets blasted as he fires his shot. Then I swear, I wish we could hold hands till we crash and fall asleep tonight, because Lucy's brain just hard freezes, and she's blushing so hard she could power a small city. But that elf maid swoops in like a disaster. "Your Majesty can't stay the night in Thor's room." Oof. But you can't slam the brakes on a man with a mission. Thor's alchemist brain sparks into overdrive, and he snatches a book, hunting for a loophole like it owes him money. Just a heartbeat later, he's suddenly there. "Lucy-sama, I found something we can use." The girls are utterly stunned, because what crazy thing is he about to build just so he can hold hands with her all night? All right, Zagrand and the princess are cutting across this dead, empty wasteland, racing toward the negotiation tent. Old man Zagrand is still fuming, calling the whole situation a disgrace he'll never forget. Bro, seriously, breathe. Turns out their intel got stomped into the dirt here. They thought they were luring in 1,000 bandits, but then a spider Zerg rush exploded onto the scene, about 10 times bigger than they ever expected. Their whole plan blew up in smoke, because they were terrified of a demon invasion that was basically a fake scare. And instead of sticking together, they split up, got absolutely destroyed, and walked away with a brutal L. Now Princess Lyanna is sweating through her nerves, because she can't afford one wrong move in these negotiations. But Zagran's up there thinking about how he shaped her into the perfect tool for his scheme. Yikes, bro, that's asterisk extra asterisk sus. He's laying out a full-on Chad leader speech, telling her to take control from this week and force them to submit. The princess is straight up losing it, full panic attack. Like, are you honestly calling this your master plan? She's like, so, who's slipping the most this week? Then she narrows her eyes and goes, wait, who's the weaker one, huh? Let's be real, the demon lord rolled in with his 100+ soldiers and a bunch of spiders, and they just obliterated the Empire's 300 troops like it was nothing. So yeah, the Empire's math is straight up failing right now. Her sister's voice pounds inside her skull, urging her to steal from the Empire. But Leon's like, wait, why are we fighting? Let's talk it out for real with words. Zagran isn't buying this pacifist speech for 1 second. He snarls that Sophia, her own sister, poisoned her mind with all those soft ideas, and he warns her that if she doesn't straighten up, he'll drag her onto the front lines himself. He won't shut up about how she should be the ideal princess, then straight up tells her to quit being a cinnamon roll and start acting like a queen bee. Leonor is absolutely stunned by this whole lecture. But in the end, she finally gives in, nodding along to the Emperor's plan. She strides into the demon camp like the final survivor of a nightmare, barely standing, but totally fearless. Zagran cracks this super creepy, self-satisfied grin. Yeah, this guy's a full-on villain, no doubt about it. Blood-smeared Leona straightens her posture, flashes her royal smile, and proudly declares herself the third princess. She kicks things off by thanking the demons for saving their soldiers, then lavishes on the compliments like there's no tomorrow. She's still shaking as she whispers that the demon lord's sword felt like a god carving a mountain in two. Yeah, that girl is down bad, drowning in PTSD. Zagran finally admits it. Her fear is real, and the brainwashing can't erase it. She's still shaking uncontrollably, just from the thought of that crushing power. That demon lord rookie just pops up out of nowhere and goes, hey, I'm the rookie guarding the sovereign right here. He tells her, look, there's no shame in losing, even the strongest can still get clapped sometimes. He actually praises the Empire's tactics. Like against those tiny spiders, they absolutely nailed it. They said the formation held strong, and going for a solo duel was the smartest move to dodge friendly fire. Zagran barrels in, pumping the princess up as a real warrior, someone who fought for her comrades with her whole heart. Then the story kicks off with introductions. Demon Chancellor Curb steps in, and the Empire's Minister of War comes to meet him. They're hyping each other up about winning together, but you can tell the demon generals are seething and ready to explode. Curb instantly snaps at them, demanding, why did the Empire hit first when we were supposed to run this joint operation together? The demon lord rips off the friendly mask and goes, all right, let's be honest. You baited the beast and dragged it straight into our territory without a single shred of permission. He keeps pressing, asking what would have happened if civilians had been nearby when that monster finally went on its rampage. We had a plan to stop anyone from getting hurt, then your choices blew it all up, he screams. He wraps it up with one last gut punch. Does this empire deserve trust, or is it all a lie? Leona stammers like her secret is about to burst out of her, but Zagran barrels in, cutting her off, and starts talking fast. He swears it's all the fault of a bunch of rogue soldiers, hungry for clout. He shoots Leona a death glare, daring her to stay locked on the script. Rage erupts from big buff General Lee. He roars like a storm, and even when nobody called for him, the demon lord snaps, ordering him to stand down. Zagran flashes a fake apology like a dagger with a smile. The demon lord whips around to Leona and demands her side of the tale. She blurts out her practiced lie, claiming those soldiers moved on their own without orders, then insists that's exactly how they managed to intercept the beast. She swears they never told the demons, because they couldn't face their own failure and shame crushed them. She even stops to apologize for the mess they caused. Zagran doubles down, praising her as she keeps swinging, covered in the beast's blood. But those demons are downright ruthless, so Curbs throws the question right back. Where are the soldiers? Can we talk to them? Zagran insists they're too injured, but Curb isn't buying it for a second. He calls them out immediately, saying they're just hiding behind excuses to save themselves. Switching gears, Zagran lays out a heartfelt thank you letter, and then drops a proposal for a proper non-aggression ceremony. He keeps planting kisses on the demon lord, begging him to give his op powers the respect they're absolutely owed. The demons are freaking out inside like, "Bruh, what are you even talking about? We totally misread that sword." The demon council nods in agreement, and just like that, they greenlight the plan, securing their nation real legitimacy and snapping open the doors to trade. Lee's anger is still roaring in his chest, but Curb snaps that those rogue soldiers were only scapegoats, and pushing for them would mean walking straight into the Empire's trap. The Demon Lord nods. He's already weighed the Empire and decided it's worth it, so he's snatching the win and cashing in on all the benefits. He spills the secret trade routes between humans and demons in the borderlands, and he's dead set on not ruining them for the common folk. So it's official, the deal gets sealed. Later, back at their own camp, Zagrand is still on Lyanna's case, drilling into her that she needs to be cold, sharp, and ruthless like the Emperor. She's gone all in on the dark side now, straight up declaring, "I'm Princess Leona, I'll never bend or yield. If it's there to take, I'm taking it." She's ready to swipe whatever the Empire needs, supplies, weapons, secrets, anything, even if that means going toe-to-toe with the Demon Lord himself. The official meeting kicks off, and the princess takes the letter and the tribute straight into her hands, like it's the start of something huge. It's a peace offering, proof they mean it, and it seals their brand new non-aggression pact. But Leona has one final question burning on the tip of her tongue. She leaned in and demanded to know how the Demon Lord's domain pulled off that insane long-range magic, and why that obsidian sword was even in the mix. The Demon Lord just shrugs like it's nothing, then goes, "Sure, let's steal the alchemist's wisdom." Leona's eyes blaze with surprise. So this wandering alchemist, could he be a human from the Empire? She goes full recruitment mode on the spot, determined to meet that alchemist and drag him into the Empire's service. Girl, practically starving for that kind of talent. She's dead certain, even a non-combat alchemist could still serve the Empire. Zagrand's totally down for it. Then the rookie steps in, and his face looks like it's exploding with pure fury. Meanwhile, Thor's out on patrol with Lady Agnes's squad, patrolling the edge of an old monster nest. Those tiny demon dudes are hyping him up like crazy, and the second it hits, he's blushing so hard he wants to disappear. He casually taps Flame's store to drink in the fire, and his tiny fan club completely loses it. Rookie's the loudest fangirl there is, but my alchemist lord. He blows her away even more. Mabel's stomach drops as she fears they're about to run into Imperial soldiers. But Thor's on a mission. He's hunting down more alchemy ingredients. He's already plotting his next sword, one that'll crush even the holy sword. Because after watching the princess's blade barely scratch the big boss, he knew he had to go way harder. The girls gasp because he's actually trying to build something that's completely op. Thor spotted her magic laser pointer sword and basically went, "Wow, she's incredible." But Rookie snapped him straight, because the real power didn't come from her at all, it came from Lord Rookie's magic. Mabel shoots him a reminder. The Demon Lord would rather keep him safe than swap him out for another sword. He nods and agrees he'll be back soon. But right when he's about to finally relax, Imperial soldiers suddenly come into view. Cut to the Empire. Ligas, some nobody with a mean streak, is bullying a poor maid, demanding she call him Duke. This guy's gone on a massive power trip, swearing he's about to reclaim his title and seize the role of Minister of War. His big master plan. He sent a letter to his own son, our boy Thor, and it's a no-win trap. Whatever Thor does, it'll make him look like he's spying, and then his father can yank the strings and turn him into a puppet. What a garbage dad. He's totally lost in delusions of grandeur, plotting to slay the Demon Lord and rise as a living legend. This guy's out here literally belting songs and busting moves about his glorious rise, and the cringe level is off the charts, over 9,000. Deep in the forest, a terrified lost soldier barrels toward Agnes' group, begging them, pleading for help. Thor tucked inside his stealth cloak, sensing something fishy and seriously suspicious, just knew it. The soldier drops his weapon, then demands an escort as he heads back straight for his army. Agnes, being the kind of person who can't turn away, immediately agrees to help. But Thor spots the man instantly. It's the head guard from his old home, the exact same guy who laid out every reason Thor got thrown out. And yeah, the vibes are totally wrong. Agnes can't shake it. Why is a whole headguard from Vagical House out here all by herself? So Thor, 5 steps ahead already, snaps together a trap that cushions the blow. He makes Mabel hand it to Agnes, right on the spot, so the exhausted soldier can finally catch a breath. He bites the bait instantly and drops himself right onto it. Thor straight up tells Mabel it's the same clown who used to roast him for being useless in fights. Then Mabel wastes zero time and blurts that she wants to cast attack magic. Get em, girl. The guard lunges to hand Agnes a letter meant for Lord Thor lieges. Thor snaps at him right away for using his family name without permission. Then this random NPC bursts out of the woods, swearing he's Thor's most trusted aide. So Mabel snaps back, "Nope, I'm Thor's #1. Then he grills the imposter about Thor's favorite food and hobbies. Sweat starts pouring, and the guy's completely busted. Thor only smirks, like he already knows this guy never cared about him for a second. Finally, Thor steps out, and the guard instantly loses it, panicking out of his mind. He starts bootlicking, praising how much Thor's changed, but Thor shuts it down. None of that is landing. The guard suddenly snaps into rage, barking that there's no way a weakling like Thor could have earned demon folks' trust. Thor fires back, saying we're speaking different tongues, and then he demands the letter. The guard shoves it into your hands and snarls that you have to read it alone. Yeah, right. Thor makes a full-on power move. He shoves the letter into Mabel's hands and orders her to read it out loud for everyone to hear, and the guard is left absolutely stunned. Thor tells everyone straight up, anything his father ever left behind is a trap, and the fact that he can read it out in public proves he's innocent. Absolute big brain move. Mabel reads the letter, and it's exactly the nightmare we feared. Orders to spy on the demons and use Agnes as a hostage, plain treason. The guard throws out excuses, but Thor snaps. He's had enough. He sees this moment and finally slices every tie for good. He storms out to tell everyone the letter is from his father, spilling the details of a deadly plan targeting the demon lord's domain. He straight up declares that any man who sends letters like this, he's not his father, not in any world. From this day on, I'm done going by my own name. I'm living under my late mother's name, and that means I'm Thor Conan. The crowd erupts like thunder, then the rookie snaps, claiming his brand new name. Mabel's got a little ache in her heart. His special name is out in the open now, but she still smiles because she's genuinely happy for him. Agnes also vows her eternal loyalty to Thor Canant, swearing she'll never turn her back on him. All his new friends erupted in cheers, their trust locked in tight, no doubt at all. The Imperial Guard just stands there, completely stunned, like their brains short-circuited. Thor's heart starts to break a little as all that support hits him. The guard snaps, screaming that they've thrown away their noble pride. But Thor's ice cold, "Nope, I don't want it, I don't need it. Go back and tell your master," right, just like he tossed me aside. "I'm done with him too, and that's the ultimate mic drop." Then he grabs the stunned captain and starts grilling him for intel, demanding to know how he slipped away from the Empire's forces. The captain's eyes narrow as he realizes this isn't the same weak boy he remembers from the capital. That boy is finally free, standing in a world where people actually care about him, not just pass by him. All right, so the demon lord slides up to his crew like, "Yo, excellent work, my dudes." The whole crew's lined up and waiting. Then one of them grins and goes, "Your Majesty, we've been waiting." And the flame-haired waifu leans in like a seal of approval. "No monsters slipped through, we're all clear." Then out of nowhere, some random Imperial soldier snaps and starts screaming like a man possessed. "The demon lord's gonna kill me. I can't move. I'm gonna get eaten alive." And yeah, my guy is completely losing it. Turns out this guy is literally glued to a trap cushion. Then bam, he gets flattened by a whoopee cushion with a nasty attitude, a 3-star rarity item at that. Honestly, that's brutal and humiliating. The demon lord's right-hand lady is done. She's glaring like, "Who put this clown here? Stop squirming." And then she snaps, "It was me. I did it." Thor, our MC, has to come clean. Yeah, he's stuck explaining that Imperial soldier who got lost and somehow ended up jammed on that cushion, while the demon lord just watches him without blinking. He jabs a finger at Thor and goes, "You and me, private talk later." Oof, looks like somebody's about to get tossed in timeout. Thor just stands there trembling like some rookie's about to get blown apart. The demon lord's second-in-command just stared at him, pure, boiling disappointment in every single wordless second. He barks at his men, "Grab this guy and drag him into custody, then interrogate him until we squeeze out every last secret." Then the demon lord whips around to his army and blasts the hype wide open, because the monster hunt is officially over. Now we push out to the plains, throw down our camp, and feast like we just won everything. Hell yes. And the entire army erupts, going wild in the streets. The whole squad is digging in right now, and the energy is absolutely electric. Later, the demon lord drags Thor aside and snarls, "I'm your liege." Thor squirms like, Yeah, I'm still getting used to this, lord." But my boy Thor is out here simping for his new boss. He's straight up bowing and going, "I deeply respect you. You're the greatest ruler I've ever seen." And he's laying it on so thick the demon lord can't help but eat it up, then goes, All right, you want to know what really happened with the Imperial princess. And spills all the tea. He leans in and tells Thor the truth, what the princess was really after, and it's the Alchemist. Turns out the Empire's trying to enslave Thor, forcing him to churn out whatever they demand until he drops dead, while the princess beams like, "Bring the wandering alchemist back to us. We never waste talent." Yeah, nope, Lady Rookie wasn't playing along at all. She marched right up to the princess and flat out said, "I refuse to let him be your tool." Total queen behavior. She blew up and snapped, "How dare you call him a wandering alchemist? If you truly cared, you'd have treated him right back in the Empire. You didn't even lift a finger. And don't think I'm staying quiet." She called out their garbage behavior. "That demon lord straight up chimes in because you just utterly disrespected him. No cap." Rookie realized the princess was totally clueless. She didn't even know the Empire threw Thor away like trash, or that his skills could literally reshape the world. Rookie instantly turns all blushy, and honestly, whenever I think of him, my heart just warms up. But before I even make that promise, I'll never hand Thor over to the Empire. She's out here running BAD, folks. The big red general is spiraling in pure fury, but the others shove him to calm down before he terrifies the princess. The demon lord snaps it shut. "Lizinga, yeah, your fury makes sense, but the call is mine, and this conversation is officially over." He lays down the law. "Your empire turned its back on him, so I claimed him instead. He's my people now, and I'm not surrendering them to strangers." Then this rookie just detonates the ultimate waifu bomb. "He'll find happiness here with me." The whole room freezes dead silent, and she's not joking for a second. "I'll stitch up his heart, and he'll stay right by my side. No way I'm handing him to the Empire." Mic drop. The demon lord shuts the whole thing down. "All I want is peace. Is that acceptable, princess?" She's shaking so hard she can barely squeak out a yes. Yeah, so that's how the negotiations really went down. Thor's left totally shell-shocked, and I honestly never saw any of that coming. Rookie stares him down with pure determination and declares, "Don't worry, I'll make sure he's happy here." And then she digs in, "Don't worry, Mabel. I'll make sure every one of my people, you included, ends up happy." Thor's cheeks are burning and his heart's sprinting. Then the demon lord interrupts, yanking the conversation away. "Did you fix a magic sword back in the Empire?" Thor's was like, "Yeah, how could I forget? I helped work on something just like that." He tells your boss, Liegas, that his trash vanished. Then Liegas erases his work and pins it on some mystery wandering alchemist, and Rookie instantly clocks it. The same alchemist that Princess wants is you. She tells him straight to his face, "No sugarcoating. Thor, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I told you everything she wanted." Thor finally clues in, and rage just lights up his whole body. "The next time you spot that princess, tell her with a grin, 'Don't mess with me.' And tell her to whip those loser nobles into shape, and stop flooding her with spam mail." He tells the demon lord that the only reason he can craft without limits is because of you, and that he's never going back to being some emperor's tool. "You handed me a real home, freedom, and even access to the online catalog. Life's straight up amazing here." He locks eyes with his new boss and tells them, "I don't care about your offers, because I'm happiest right here with you." Rookie is completely stunned. He can't even find the words. The demon lord just smirks, like he knew all along. "I was terrified I'd been holding Thor back, but now my boy is thriving." Rookie snaps that she'll screen every single one of his emails from now on, and the whole squad starts chanting, "Master Thor Kanen," after he dumps his old family name. Now he's officially one of them. Now that the diplomatic chaos finally settled, Rookie was charging back to the castle. The big general leans in and tells Thor he'll be staying at his estate. No more tiny shed. This is a full-blown alchemist's workshop, and Thor's hype level goes through the roof. He's basically buzzing with excitement. I could slap up a sign that says, "Alchemy Open," and this dude would still be nerding out like it's the coolest thing ever. The demon lord just smirked and went, "So that's one of your dreams, huh?" But the rookie wags her finger in your face. "Don't get too wild, or I'll slap you with a monitor to keep eyes on you." Meanwhile, those Imperial soldiers are getting absolutely wrecked. Things are way worse for them than anyone expected. Zagran gets crushed before the letter ever reaches him. He finally clicks. Thor played them like puppets. Once he fessed up to who he really was and swapped his name, he locks in with the demons and leaves the Empire looking like a bunch of total fools. Zagran launched into a fierce monologue about how Thor tossed his old name aside right in front of everyone. "Man, this kid isn't just a talented crafter. He's got a literal galaxy brain. This is way past normal." That whole expedition was a straight-up disaster. One monster after another, the Demon King included, and now it's even worse with Thor Conan. Zagran just lets out a heavy sigh. And honestly, I can't shake the feeling that I'm nothing more than a dull side character. Suddenly, the bushes crackled with a rustling sound, like something was closing in. Zagran tries to play the total Chad and tells the princess to rest up, but she can't stop apologizing for the whole failure. He tells her to stand tall for the troops, hold that stiff upper lip, because if she shows even a crack, fear will spread like wildfire. She steels herself and forces the pieces back into place. He leans in and orders her to get stronger for the Empire. Then something lurks in the dark. A monstrous horned rabbit lunges out of nowhere and ambushes them. It charges straight for the princess. Zagran throws himself in front of it like a shield. He whips the blade through the rabbit in one sharp, clean slice. It better be revenge for the one we wiped out earlier. He grunts through his teeth. Battle stations. There's no way a boss monster isn't lurking nearby. The soldiers snap into battle mode, weapons up and ready to clash. They snap into a tight defensive circle, guarding the princess from every angle. Every single one of them is on edge, braced for whatever hits next. But the princess just smirked and said, "I don't feel a single shred of monster energy." So whatever it was acting like a totally normal animal. Zagran burst into maniacal laughter like he'd completely lost it. "That Demon King's domain. You didn't just mess with me. You carved a scar into my soul, bro, and yeah, I straight up got PTSD from a bunny." The princess barrels up to him, tells him to drop the fear, and orders someone to stitch him back together. She's yelling for the medics like her life depends on it. He can't shake it. She still calls him Gramps, even after everyone warned her not to get attached, like he's just another pawn getting moved around in the same old game. He can't forget her back when she was just a little kid, always running wild and stirring up pure chaos. She throws teasing jabs at him, calling him old and wiped out. They vanish into the moonlight, fully aware they've got a mountain of cleanup waiting for them back home. The very next day, the Demon Lord hands Thor his official alchemy permit, and suddenly he can brew his alchemy anywhere across the demon lands. The Chancellor grabs him and warns, "Sure, small-scale distribution is fine, but if you start mass-producing your op items, you're setting off consequences on a whole other level." He shoves a stack of papers into his hands, then blurts, "Don't show all of it," and instantly panics so hard he can barely breathe. Thor's like, "All right, time to take off, soak up everything I can, and bring it back to help the whole domain grow." The Demon Lord tells him to chill. "Relax, man, you're way too intense. Call this a vacation, you've earned it." With that command, they sprint straight into the general's territory. The general grins, swings open the gates, and practically shouts, "Come on, Thor, let me show you around my domain." But right then, Thor's was already locked in on his next project. "That magic item I'm going to make, I've already locked it in. I know exactly what it is." The locals roll out the biggest welcome imaginable for them. And we tore into a massive feast. Everyone's eating it up, laughing nonstop, but while everyone's eating, Thor just blanks out, completely checked out. Agnes, the general's daughter, leans in and asks, "Is something wrong? So you're telling me not to say it, but you're already plotting to crank out even more magic items in your head." Agnes is like, "No way, he's probably just exhausted." But Mabel the elf maid already has the whole situation figured out. And yeah, it's exactly like that. Every single person's jaw drops in shock. Thor wastes zero time. "General, tell me right now, do you know anyone who can hit with light attribute attacks? I'm in trouble unless I can get their help for my research." The general's impressed. Then he's already moving on, so why in the world is light magic the next move? Thor raises a crystal sword and sets his sights on the Empire's sacred blade, like he's about to crack its secrets. He fires off a warning to the general, pointing out that the op blade of light the princess used isn't just a legend, it's insane and way too powerful. The general flexes, PFFT. And that Demon Lord's laser blade absolutely blows his mind with how terrifyingly amazing it is. Thor totally geeks out. Yeah, that was only a prototype. Now he wants to perfect it, and to do that, he's gotta study the holy sword. "I'm trying to forge an item that can stand up to the blade of light." The whole table is totally stunned. The general just goes, "Bold, real bold." Like blocking a power like that is something nobody in their right mind would ever even try. Thor smirks like he's got secrets, and honestly, I just can't stop. Alchemy is my true obsession. Exactly, so I need a light element attack to test my defenses against the general tells him to chill, but Thor's sprinting with pure chaos, so I'm starting right now while the memory's still fresh. The general just gives up, staring in awe as he can't stop admiring that raw, unstoppable passion. Agni claims their territory is packed with rare races, so he's certain someone out there is hiding light magic. Then she flaunts the health boost pendant Thor gave her, so she can finally squeeze into normal clothes without instantly bursting into flames. Total glow-up. But apparently, the staff can't shake their nerves. Seeing her without her armor is freaking them out. Her dad straight up admits it. Yeah, they've got faith in the pendant, but not everyone else is buying it. As a kid, she was basically a walking disaster, always sparking, and somehow every time she moved, her clothes ended up getting burned. But Mabel, always one step ahead, snatches a stack of earth attribute magic fabric right out and goes. I grabbed this just in case. Thor leans in and tells him it's no ordinary claw. This one's built to burn through anything with flame-resistant steel fire magic. He tells them, make some clothes for Agnes out of it, and just like that, he reassures everyone. Agnes is so moved by his kindness that she swears she'll repay him. Thor's like, nah, we're good. Grab that help for my workshop, all right. This isn't a problem. After Thor and Mabel storm out, the general finally turns to his daughter and drops a real apology. Agnes, I can't promise I'll be able to back your love. She's totally blindsided, and when he tries to talk, he says he can't explain, because he's suddenly got no place left to back her up in that romance. She instantly decides it's because even the Demon Lord is thinking about Thor, and if he's got a crush, then you bet the competition gets ruthless fast. The general was like, hold up, wait, I can't say anything, and then he basically confirmed it anyway. Agnes isn't panicking for a second. She just looks him in the eye and says, Father, I only want to serve Lord Thor with all my heart. Her dad calls her out, saying she'd been giving him the eyes all dinner long, and that's pretty much the same thing as being in love. She finally admits it. She's totally wrecked by her own feelings, because for so long she only ever saw the world through that helmet. She's made up her mind to pay back Thor first. Love can wait until the debt is settled. Her dad's beaming with pride. Agnes, you've grown into a whole new you. Then she starts asking herself, what kind of woman would Thor fall for? A soft, calm angel or a wild, fiery storm? The second she thinks about it, she starts literally blazing with fire. Her dad's like, why are you glaring at me? While she quietly burns him alive with a silent look for meddling. Agnes, calm down right now. And just like that, Thor's very first night was slammed with the loud, chaotic sounds of a classic father-daughter blow-up. Back in his brand new room, Thor took one look around the huge space, and even set up his portable alchemy lab to start tinkering right away. He's geared up and itching to jump into work. He yanks out the legendary catalog of wonders, straight from the hero's world. He's hunting for one crucial item, something that can slam the brakes on light-based attribute attacks and shut them down. Right then, Mabel bursts in with tea and slides up to offer him a massage. Zero hesitation, full waifu mode like she's on a mission. She warns him, if you push too hard, Lady Rookie will be heartbroken. Then she cuts in, hand me your health management and let me handle it. Thor swears he'll hold back and won't go too far. Mabel is totally stunned. He leaned in and said, nah, I was just about to stop right after I imagined it. Mabel's face is blazing red, and she's stuttering like her words are tripping over their own feet. She goes dead serious for a second. Lord Thor, please don't forget what matters most, because we're counting on you. He tells her to help him dig through the catalog, and she jumps in without a second thought. She already figures out he's hunting for that one light-blocking item. Thor leans in, impressed, and lays out his theory. Because those heroes from another world keep blasting the same light magic over and over, their catalog has to include a way to shut it down. He tells you they named their moves like Photon Blade, because they loved that kind of punchy, sci-fi swagger. That's basically proof they're born with a serious affinity for light magic. He figures that in their world, folks probably tossed around light magic like it was just a casual hey. Picture this, in this world, people don't just say good morning. They hand you a photon blade, and the blade's sound alone is pure nightmare fuel. Thor is shaking like crazy, yet it's not fear driving him. It's pure adrenaline straight to the heart. I'm gonna push closer to the hero's turf. He's laser-focused on the one technique that shattered the first Demon King's barrier, this ultimate vivid light. The most powerful light magic on the battlefield. He cracks the hero's favorite abbreviations, and suddenly it clicks. The key has to be the initials *U*** and V***. He can even scribble a few words of the hero's own language. So Mabel starts rattling the catalog out loud, all while he's on the hunt for keywords. Before long, they stumble onto two items that line up perfectly, both packed with UNV, strong light and defense. First up, a UV-cut parasol that blocks a massive 90% of harmful UV rays. The second one, it's a UV-cut lotion. The ad copy dares people to conquer the sun, and Thor's brain flat-out detonates. The sun is the ultimate engine that powers light magic. So in his world, they don't hide behind shields. They just use their bare skin to crush the strongest light magic. That's the same brutal magic that shattered a demon lord's barrier, and yeah, this hits way harder. This is straight up op on another level. Thor is crumpled on the floor, utterly overwhelmed. Then he finally finds it. With this in our hands, we can stand up and fight back against the holy sword. So it's like this: one is an umbrella and the other is lotion. UV has to stand for ultimate vivid light, right? It sounds absurd, slapping sunscreen over a world-ending spell. But hey, it's a gamble and I'd try it. It's already too late to grab supplies, so he grits his teeth and starts prepping for tomorrow, while Mabel jumps in, saying she'll help him wash up. He claims he can handle it alone, but she refuses to back down. While he's supposed to be washing up, he's stuck in a heated debate. Should he use the lotion or the parasol? That lotion keeps his hands free for a sword and shield, but the parasol takes up one hand, like it won't let him have it all. But with that lotion, one missed spot could spell disaster. And yeah, trying it on his bare skin would have rattled his mind for days. So he plays it smart with the parasol. It feels safer and way easier to use. He locks in on the parasol at the exact moment Mabel bursts in with water. She storms in and sees him still shirtless. Then her face turns to Red on the spot. "My Lord Thor, why are you still out here without a shirt?" He blurts out an apology, admitting he totally got lost in his thoughts, and then she offers to wash his back for him. He's totally flustered, but she's already ready for whatever hits. "I've got a special item, just wait till you see what it does." She slips on a swimsuit stitched from water magic cloth that never gets wet, then a boy absolutely loses it, staring way too hard at her. Curves. She's fired up, so listen, I'm not letting you get sick on my watch. He has no choice, he has to throw in the towel. His nerves are absolutely shot. She tells him, "Hey, go ask if you need anything." Then she leans in and says the happiest version of her shows up when he's finally relaxed, right there beside her. He barely manages to spit out a quiet, "Thanks," like the words are escaping before the moment swallows him.